TSF.
Too fast. Too fast, retro. Welcome back to the TSF Entertainment channel. In the building, you have Retro CG, who's in mourning right now. Joined by my two brothers that are never a day late or a dollar short. Mr. DJ Fresh, Your Highness, Jack of Jordan's in the building. What's good, brothers?
Yo, what up?
What up, though?
I don't know why he won't believe us, bro.
I need y'all to help me get through. I'm having a hard time.
I don't know why he don't believe us.
You got the sun.
Anyway, we are here to talk about Power Book 3, Raising Kanan, Season 4. It's the finale, and we're here already at the finale. Episode 410, Gimme the Weight. My girl Rock took all the weight. I don't care what y'all say. My girl Rock took all the weight.
She did.
I agree with that.
100%.
All right, fellas. Opening thoughts. What did y'all think about this episode?
I know that I'm gonna get scolded for a terrible finale, in my opinion.
Oh, Jay already started.
I'm probably going to get drugged through the mud, too.
Exactly. Where our $20 at? Where our $20 at?
Hey, okay, Jay. Like I said last week,
Jay, what we said?
I literally said I can admit it. I was wrong.
So run us our Skrilla.
I was right about the car, though. I was wrong.
You was right about the car.
Right about the car.
Right about the car.
Yeah, I know.
Shout out to the amazing chat on YouTube in the building. I'm sure you guys are going to have a lot to say about this week's episode. What did y'all think about this for the finale? Was I the only one that was a little bit underwhelmed?
Yeah.
No.
No. Oh, my bad.
I was very underwhelmed. For sure.
It was underwhelming and very predictable. It started off good, and as it progressed, it got very underwhelming and very predictable. That's why I said, in my opinion, it was a terrible finale.
It was. All right. Well, let's get down to it. Let's get down into the weeds of this thing with this episode. There's just a lot of things to talk about this week in this week's episode. DeMarcus says it was, yeah, exactly, Keywan. It was all over the place, but decent, yeah. Definitely not the best for a season finale. Exactly, Lady Virtue.
I agree.
Lady V, no, definitely could have been better.
Exactly.
Nope, it was whack as heck. So we're all on the same page.
We're all on the same
page. All right, let's go get in here and talk about this thing. So the episode was written by Sasha Penn, which is the showrunner, directed by Rob Hardy. And the episode synopsis is: a devastated Kanan fiercely searches for answers and revenge. Rock attempts to stave off the collapse of her business as she and Lou prepare for a possible war with Unique. Am I the only one that feel? We'll get into it. All right, so the episode starts off with Kanan back at the trap house and with Juke, and he just tearing the place up, just throwing papers all over the place, flipping up folding tables and shit. And Juke looking at him like, this is crazy. What's going on? As he commences and proceeds to just tear up the apartment, he just falls down on the couch and he starts crying. And so this showed us right here, even though I don't think that he ever showed Crystal how much he cared about her. Am I the only one that felt like he did not show Crystal how much he cared about her, but at the end of the day, he really did care for her?
Yeah, I'd agree with that.
Shauna.
Exactly, Kiwan. Crash out Kanan. You're right. What's up, Real? I don't think that he actually showed Crystal just how much he cared about her, but as he proceeds to cry in Jukebox lap, she's trying to console him and let him know that it's going to be okay. In this sense, I do feel bad for him because he thought that he was doing the right thing by trying to get his girl out of town, but it seemed like she would have been safer there with him. Or like we said in one of our previous reviews, he should have taken her out of town. He should have made sure that she got out of town.
Yep.
Letting her go on her own.
Should have had one of your soldiers make sure she got out of there.
Nah, as much as he cared about her, this is something he should have done himself.
Yeah, he should have done it.
He should have done it himself.
He should have, but you already know, like, I got to stick here. He was too busy trying to find OC because he was worried about that money. And at that point, he ain't really. I ain't gonna say he didn't care about fame because he was still trying to think about, but it was mainly OC and that money. So I think that's why once he found out OC was gone, he's like, all right, I gotta get her up out of here. What's up, pretty girl? Loves Trap.
Yes, what's up, pretty girl? Loves Trap in the building. Happy Sunday to you as well. Let's see. All right, Real, what you say? Don't know why they just don't let Sasha Penn direct all these finals. Yeah, for him to have written this episode, I would have expected it to have been a little bit more action packed. Usually, his episodes that he does are pretty action packed. All right, so Kanan is now in a sense of processing what's going on through the whole Crystal. I guess we're left to assume that Jukebox came over and told him what happened to Crystal, or whatever the case may be. Yeah. And he starts ruminating over the fact that everybody he cared about is gone. And he still can't really understand, or he really isn't questioning himself as to why all of his people are falling. That's the crazy part about it, is he's so hell-bent on thinking that Rock is the one who's done it, but he's never once asked the question out loud or mentioned out loud, why is she doing this?
Yep.
He's for certain to know that she's doing it, but doesn't ask the question why she's doing it. And so they sit there and they start having a conversation. And of course, he tells Juke that, of course, Rock is to blame for it. Of course. It rains outside and it's Rock's fault. You look at him like, what Rock got to do with Crystal?
Exactly.
And he was like, Bonnie and Clyde told me that she dropped fame. And finally, Jukebox says what I've been waiting for her to say all along, is that, listen, I wouldn't trust everything that's coming from Bonnie and Clyde. Like, they running their own angle, and like, I wouldn't trust those old heads. What did y'all think about Kanan's reaction in this situation?
I can't even think of the word, but I knew how he was going to react because, like he said, he's so hell bent on Rock. Like, I already knew he was automatically going to think Rock did it. Like, it should have made sense. It should have clicked in, like you said. It should have asked why, because OC had been working with you for like how long?
5 minutes.
When you was getting work from Rock. So why in the world I don't even think Rock knew about OC. So why would Rock take OC out? Like, you just start, just because they told you she was the one who quote unquote dropped fame. Now you just put, oh yeah, she did all of this. Never question why. Like she said, Crystal, like she even said, that's Crystal's not in the game. Why would she do that? Like, there was no reason for her to, like Juke said, there was no reason for her to put down Crystal.
Exactly, Jack.
Kanan don't really think much of strategy at all, because there's no strategic reason of why Rock would drop any of them. You know, that was a strategic reason of why, you know, she had to drop D-Wiz, because it was either going to be you or D-Wiz. None of this makes any sense. Like, he can't even put the pieces together for him to make sense, except for his disdain and hate and him being so adamant about, you know, Rock is behind all this. Anything to go wrong, Rock is behind it. My Tim's got scuffed. Rock was behind it. My tires flat. She slashed my tires. You know, like to me, it's just crazy. Like, if she wanted to really wanted to hurt your business, she would just stop supplying you.
Not only that, if she really wanted to, she would just go and take out Snaps and Pop.
Right. You know, so none of it really makes any sense. He wasn't.
Yeah. Like, she would go directly to whatchamacallit and just be like, nah, I'm just about to cut you right off. And I'm out of here to go Snaps and Pop.
Or she, like you said, Jack, or she could have just simply stopped supplying him his work.
I could just stop supplying you the work instead of what is taking Crystal. How was that affecting you financially or anything like that? Like, at this point, it's a business. There's no war or dispute. The only war that he got going on is the one in his head.
Yep. I guess Rock robbed him too. He's conveniently forgotten that he got robbed twice. His storage got robbed, and his stash house got robbed for his product and his money. I guess Rock did that too. He hasn't drawn back to that. All of a sudden, conveniently, Unique returns from the dead, and his places get robbed. But he's on this quest that Rock is the blame for everything. But never once does he ask, "I wonder who keep robbing me."
And not only that,
Rock
bought it up.
Restaurant got robbed around the same time Mustache
I
House
was
got
about to say she
robbed.
bought it up when she had them all come to the house and said that Unique is back. He alive. She's like, he the one who been hitting the spots. So you would have thought it would click them like, oh, this, but
He
nope.
the one who's sticking me up.
Yep. Never clicked.
All right. We have much more to talk about with Kanan, but let's go ahead and move forward. Jack, you want to take this scene, bro?
This was a wild scene right here.
It was a while.
That I was tapping that ass.
Unique was disrespectful, yo. Way disrespectful.
Man, Unique was so disrespectful, man. At this scene, he pretty much they confronted him about it and said, "Look, if you want to bring family into this, let's bring family into it because family should be off limits. We saw you talking to, we saw you talking to Kanan, you know, but I could easily get to your family too." Unique just go on a complete verbal crash out. Nah, whatever. I wish you would. Little bro, I bet you didn't know I was hitting that, did you? She even called me daddy. I thought he was gonna say, yo, if she called me daddy, that means you my son. I thought he was gonna punk him like that. Like he was already sonning him, you know, call him the big P word and everything. Saying like the last time I saw you or last time I heard, you was sucking on the bottom of a glass bottle. Like you was like it was the last trick in town. So he just went on a verbal assault when it came down to insulting Rock and Lou. So Rock just stood there kind of with the poker face
with no pressure.
And no pressure at all. You see Lou cut his eyes like, oh, is he right? He was smashing that? Right. But you know, we ain't going to get to that right now. But Rock was like, all right, bet. Don't worry about it because I know how to get to your family too, my boy.
So a lot of things in this scene right here, it's evident. It's evident. I don't know if it's really clear to Rock either, but it's evident that Unique really got feelings for Rock. This is more personal than anything. And it all goes back to personal because once again, he's yet to ask himself the question, why would Rock try to take me out? You just got finished sitting here announcing to everyone that y'all were sleeping together, that y'all were having intimate moments with each other, right? Rock wasn't in the game during that time. So why would you think that she was trying to take you out? It was laying wide open. You're just forgetting. I guess this is what's pissing me off about the whole Unique situation and them resurrecting his character. They should have. There's no mention about all the conflict that him and Ronnie had during the time he was seeing Rock. There's no mention of the fact that Rock wasn't even in the game during the time when Ronnie took you out. You ran up on Ronnie at the tailor shop. Ronnie attacked you. How are you drawing on? He's another Kanan. Everything's Rock's fault.
Because early Tyler put that battery in his back. Speaking
of putting a battery in his back, hold on a minute. We got a $5 super chat from Unique. From DeMarcus. DeMarcus Unique Vaughn.
I knew it.
Yep. DeMarcus says Unique basically said, cancel that bitch. I'll go buy another one like Nino Brown, especially talking to Lulu. That's crazy though, because not only did Unique kind of crash out on Rock, he put a battery in her back too, or tried to anyway. When he was like, Kanan came up over there to talk to me about working with me. That's not true.
Yeah,
that's not true at all. And then he was like, enemy of my enemy is a friend. I'm the friend, you're the enemy. That part is true. However, what he's trying to imply is that Kanan wants to come over there and work with him. That's not true. Kanan came over there to address him about the whole situation with with Crystal. So, like, Rock, I had to give it to Rock. Rock stood there. She wasn't bothered at all. She's like, you put my business out in the street. You putting our business out in the street, and what? You've been warned.
I think she already had her. I'm sorry. Go ahead, Fresh.
Oh no, I was just saying. I thought two things was going to happen in this whole scene. I thought one, Akbar was going to tell him like, "Bro, you tripping," or two, she was going to reveal that like, yeah, you was a daddy, but not no more. Like I thought she was going to throw like the subtle jab, like, yeah, I was pregnant, but not no more. Thought like we was going to get that storyline coming back since it was the finale.
which goes to Dale's comment right here. Missed opportunity with Rock not mentioning the mission of removing the child to Unique. Luke could have told Pernessa later on. Like, I don't understand. We talked about this a lot offline throughout the weekend, that we don't understand why they haven't revisited that. Why show it to us at that point? Unless it's going to come up in season 5. So we agree with you on that, Dale. That was definitely a missed opportunity. Miss Honey, how you doing, Miss Honey? Unique is mad that she turned him out. She did turn him out. Definitely shows.
What's up, Miss Honey? Yeah, I for sure. Because I'm like, it's so many unanswered like questions and plot like storylines that we got during the season that none of them got answered in the finale. I thought we was gonna get some answers or something. We ain't get nothing.
This to me should have been the episode before the finale, and then let the finale been a little bit more action packed. They should have written a different episode for the action pack, given what all happened in this episode, and we got to wait all the way to next year. Yep. Again, I thought they were going to close out some of these storylines, especially when you're opening a new one. You're opening a new storyline without closing out. I think the only storyline that they closed out this season was Marvin and that little girl that we really didn't care about. I think that's the only storyline that they closed out. All the rest of them are still open. Plus, you added a new one with Breeze. Like, y'all should have been closing out some of these storylines. At this point, as much as we used to, well, let me rephrase that. As much as we liked the Unique character, they should have left him unalived. This was just a waste of a season. It was a wash and repeat with previous seasons with him in Rock. This is no different than season 1. This is no different than season 2. The only time that they actually got along was in season 3. And then now season 4, we're right back to the beginning. And you got him and Kanan screaming and hollering the same thing. They're both whining about the same thing. Rock, 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 rock. And it's just like, why did y'all bring the character back to continue the conflict that they already had in previous seasons? You're not giving us anything different. And Unique, what happened to the whole crash out stuff? All that went away. It's like he's back to being regular Unique.
Yep.
He pretty much was Unique, except he was pissed off, and it pretty much started, or it got worse from that conversation that he had with Early Tyler, who didn't really pay a factor into the whole, or we didn't see much of him into the whole beef with Unique and Rock, which I never really understood that. But I think Rock already had it made up in her mind of what she was going to do. She was just being courtesy, like that was just a courtesy call. Like, I'm just trying to be nice and let you know that you about to get situated, or your family's about to get ready to get situated because you already chose to go in this direction. So I'm just giving you the warning.
I like the Unique and Rock element. It was something different. It was like strange bedfellows turn friends, you know. I like that situation right there. That was something different to give us. And they could have taken that and done something else with that. They could have grew those two characters in a different way where they were running the game together. Maybe not like as a couple or whatever, but working together. I wanted to see them work together. They should have expanded on that a little bit. Yeah, the head injury just went away all of a sudden.
That's true. And I agree 100%. And I was going to say that later on. Like, we wasted so much. We didn't find famous bodies for what? Episode 6, 7?
Yeah. And then never mind the fact that they took us through all this, the whole season, who unalived them. Like, we wasted so much time on a recurring character. We wasted so much time on a recurring character.
To Xavier's point, I wouldn't say it was a complete wash. I still think that overall it was a good season. I just think that the season finale, we deserved better. That's what I think. I think the season overall was good. Yeah, we had some swing and misses here and there, you know, but I wouldn't call it a complete wash. Bringing Unique back was a wash for sure.
Nah, I agree with him only because when I went back after the finale, I went back and was like, went episode by episode, and I was like, yo, this season was very underwhelming because I was like, they drug a whole storyline about Famous. So like episode 6, episode 7. I was like, there was no growth of, like, it started off with Snaps and Pops telling Kanan, like, yeah, you need to listen to your mother, you need to listen to Rock and all this other stuff. I was like, then out of nowhere, it just took a whole left turn, and now. Yeah, I kind of agree with him on that. It was certain stuff like normally I get it kind of start off slow and then by 5 we get to ramping up. We never even really got like a ramp. It went up like a roller coaster. It started going up and then it went right back down.
We do need 12 episodes, and I don't understand why Lionsgates and Stars have separated now, but I don't understand why they never ordered more episodes. Those extra 2 episodes really would make a difference, because even with book 2, how they closed out book 2, it felt rushed. I feel like 12 episodes, they would do real good with a 12 episode season instead of the 10. I don't understand why they haven't ordered it. Even if they did 11 episodes, 12 would have been perfect. 12 would just be perfect for them to do, especially when we have those breaks. Give us 6 episodes up front and give us 6 on the back end. Now we have a little bit more time to go through some of these arcs. Goes back to what I was saying earlier. Y'all got too many story arcs open at the same time. Close out some of these and let's focus on the one that we're most interested in. We weren't interested in Who Unalive Famous. We could have killed that in episode 2 or 3. Okay, you wasted a whole episode 1, giving us a playback on what happened in season 3. Like, y'all could have revealed those things in other episodes. Rather than having a whole episode.
That's right. That prequel, and we had about Famous upbringing, which, like you said, if y'all was gonna do that on episode 1, episode 2, we should have found out by then he was unalive.
Rock leaves the tailor shop, and she told Lou, look, go find Pernessa and that little boy, and we're going to show him who's daddy. So at that point, Rock was pissed. Like, Luke, okay, bet. I got action. The Dragon Slayer Luke is ready to go to work. I'm so goddamn tired of Stefano and his newspapers. I'm so tired of Stefano. Fuck Stefano. I'm sorry. Hey, yo, Giorgio, if you would have ran up on Marvin one more time, just one more time, touched him one more time, roughing up him one more time, Giorgio, we don't run up on the family like that. Marvin shows up over to Stefano's place trying to plead his case in regards to the situation with Early Tyler and the booking out in Corona and the unalive and the one of Stefano's made men. Like, fuck, I don't care. He carried the debt. He owed the debt. We put him down just like we would have put anyone else down. I can't help you if he was one of your dudes. You should have told him to pay his debt. The rules apply to everybody. And I don't understand why Marvin didn't approach Stefano that way. Like, how the fuck was I supposed to know who he was? He had a debt. We put him down just like we would have put anyone else down that owed you money. So you cool with him owing you money? But Marvin went in there groveling. And I'm like, man, fuck Stefano. I wouldn't went in there groveling for nothing. Like, I would have told Stefano what it is and why the decision was made that, well, first of all, Marvin didn't do a real good job explaining his side of the story. Because what he should have told Stefano was that, listen, I told Early Tyler that this your business, handle it. I didn't know that this was connected to you, Stefano, or we would have handled it a different way. Yep. But, Stefano started talking to him all crazy and whatever, and he was telling him about, now you want to tell me I can't trust Early Tyler, but before you vouched for him, so that made it your problem. That's which true. I agree with Stefano on that part. Like, when you recommended him, when you gave him as a recommendation that, hey, he gonna keep book for you, you should have thought about Early Tyler, or you should have gave Early Tyler some ground rules of what needed to happen. But Marvin was just so fixed on getting that cut that, he didn't think through the fallout of this.
I think so when it comes down to, because I watch like a lot of mafia stuff, when it comes down to mafia stuff and them owing a lot of money, yeah, you could rough them up, but of course you can't get them like completely situated, and then you just charge them the interest. It go from it was 10,000, and it go from 10,000 to 12,000 if you ain't got it by this amount of time, 12,000 to 15,000 if you ain't got it by this amount of time. Marvin was just so Marvin that he didn't even think to reach out and have a conversation of how to handle it because it was a made guy or somebody of a made guy. He should have did that, but he did a piss poor job explaining it.
He did do a piss poor job explaining it. Fresh?
Yeah, I was gonna say the exact same thing. Like, first of all, you should have listened to Rock when she first said something. You should have put both of them down off gate. Like, both of them should have been gone because you had already said Early Tyler was a snake anyway. So
Mm-hmm.
you should have already known. Just go ahead, put both of them down.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't do that. Then when Early Tyler rolled up on you, you said what you said, not even thinking like, oh, he can always go back to Stefano and tell him what I did. But right here, I knew he was going to gravel because of the simple fact that he wasn't trying to wear them cement shoes, and he know they don't have the muscle to go up against Stefano like that. So at any time, like that's why he was trying to plead his case. However, he did it totally wrong because had he told all of this up front before Early even got to him, it probably could have been handled differently. But as we can see, it did not. And then Stefano was at his wit's end, was just like, man, I'm cutting it all off. Like, I don't even want nothing to do with it no more. I don't want nothing to do with Rock, you, the trucks, nothing. Because y'all ain't nothing. What me nothing but headaches.
And Giorgio came over here to my, let's go.
Like, I thought he was going to swing on Giorgio for real.
I wanted Barbara to swing on too. Like, touch my brother one more time. My brother one more time. We ride on you too, Giorgio.
I thought for sure he was going to hit him.
You made an interesting comment though, because I'm thinking to myself, yeah, you're right. They don't have the muscle to go up against Stefano plus Jersey plus Unique. But what happened to all Rock workers? Why Rock ain't got no workers? I felt like season 1 they had workers.
I felt like at some point when they had the Carter up and running, they went against Jersey the first time around. I think that's when they lost a lot of day. I think that's when a lot of them got dropped.
But not only that, the Jersey mob totally different from New York. New York joint was huge. So like that's why she wasn't even trying to deal with them or go up with them.
Because you got to deal with the 5 families in New York. New Jersey is just the one family.
Yeah, he's like, we going up against all the families. Like,
So we got this wrong in our prediction. So we're going to admit when we wrong. Sure. We also going to let y'all know when we right. So we got this wrong. Kanan was not talking to Crystal. He was talking to Grandma. He was talking to Grandma Joyce. He goes and visit Grandma Joyce's grave, apologizes, begs his pardon for not coming to visit her more in her end days. And then he pretty much tells her he's asking for forgiveness again. Like, listen, you told me that I need to respect my mother and I need to do my mother. But I'm going to ask you for forgiveness for what I'm going to do to my mother. Right then and there, I was like, what you mean you asking for forgiveness for what you gonna do to your mother? You better not touch Rock. What? I was like, oh, this dude fit to be a crash dummy and crash out at the same time.
I wanted to strangle him in this scene.
Oh my god, I wanted to put him in the ground with you,
I just wanted to strangle him in this scene and take his nines. You know what I'm saying? Like, you're a little punk. That's what you are. You a punk. You ain't throwing no hands with nobody, anything like that. You want to be this tough guy.
Now wait a minute. Now he got hands. He got hands.
And ain't got no hands.
He do got hands. He got hands.
Later.
Yeah, he got hands. He put Freddie down and he put Purcell down. He got hands.
No, he beat Fred. He pistol whipped Freddie.
Yeah, he pistol whipped
and
Freddie.
He caught other dude off. Like just I don't want to say he snuck him, but
the wet floor.
Yeah, in a sense.
Yeah.
He ain't never went up head up with nobody. No. And that's why, like Marvin said, he need a belt. I've been saying this all season. He need his ass whooped. Like he a tough guy. And he's not a tough guy. I think he got that persona because him
his
putting
last
down
name.
That and putting down Ronnie and what's the dude from season 1?
Buck 20.
Buck 20, yeah. I think that's why he feel like he this big whatchamacallit now.
But do the streets know that he put down Ronnie?
Oh, Scrap scraped him up.
Yeah, Scrap did scrape him up.
Scrap scraped him up.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
He was younger then, though. He was younger then. He was younger.
Scrappy got him together. He was being a punk then, and he thought something was sweet. He a punk now. You know, like the crazy thing is, and what bothers me about the whole thing is, you wouldn't even be alive if it wasn't for Rock. They was about to get you situated, and you don't even know it. And she explained to you why she had to put down D-Wiz. Yep. She was like, well, this is what happened. There's no explanation behind Famous. If she did it, she would have explained it. Even though she don't have to explain herself, but if she did it, she just would have explained it. But no, you just so pissed off at your mother for no reason. How you pissed off because you alive? Wide nose bastard.
Dexter, we are. It's I don't know, man. The Power Universe is so weird. I just took this as We are in 93.
Thank you, Dexter. Thank you, Dexter. Let me hit that on fresh. Shout out to the We Got Y'all podcast and aka the Culture Garden, because they brought this up on their review as well. The nines.
Mhm.
The nines, they were released in 1993. We had this discussion earlier.
Yep.
And we're probably going to do a panel next week where we're just going to talk about the season overall. I agree. I feel like we should be in 1993. We've had 4 seasons of this right now. We started in 91. We can't be in 1992 the entire 3 seasons.
Yep.
November 1993.
Yeah, it came out in November 1993.
When they went to the dinner, I said that's why it was 93 because we had on the nines.
Dexter, you on point with that. We said that last time. That's what we was arguing. I don't know who was arguing with about it, but they should be in 1993. The show is wrong. The show is wrong.
Like, even if it's like, even though he have on the nines, even if it's like January of 93, like, we should still be, because
they got the year wrong. Because right here, look, on Joyce's, sorry, Fresh, I didn't interrupt you. On Joyce's memorial, her headstone says November 1992. Shoes came out in 93. The year is wrong. The year should be November 1993. This is where we should be at.
Well, I was thinking it was 93 anyway, because when we finally saw, what's his name? Famous, what you call that? Obituary. It said October 92, right?
Yep.
But remember, at the very first episode, we got it 3 months prior.
Yep.
So if we got 3 months prior, like, that's beforehand. So let's just say
we were in the end of 91.
Like, whatever. So no, I'm saying we're still in whatchamacallit. Like, we're still in 92. We're still in 92. It's 3 months prior before he got unalive. So we come to the present day when we saw that. If it's October and that was 3 months prior, then you got November, December, January. So we should probably at this point be in January, February. And 92. Halftime did come out in 92, but halftime was played last season.
That's true.
We saw that when him and Ronnie was up in the club.
Either way, just because of us being sneakerheads and we follow these shoes, and when they retro, we know that these shoes came out in November. I mean, you can Google it yourself and see. So it should be 93. Although in the show's continuity, we are in 92.
Even the threes that Juke had on, they first retroed in 93.
Yep, the cement threes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so Kanan, man, go on about your business. We ain't trying to hear nothing you talking about. Okay, Lou, Dragon Slayer Lou is out doing his recon, right? And I feel like Unique made a very good move getting Pernessa out of town, because where's the first place he went was to Pernessa's mom's house. Although this is not the same place that Unique was dropping that money off at, though.
Nah, I thought it was. I thought it was just always dark.
Okay.
I think that's why it was always dark when he was dropping it off. So now that we get to see it at daytime, it look a little bit different, because that's his Pernessa's mom's house. Because matter of fact, because remember when she was taking the
grocery,
that gate and everything, she was
struggling right there. She dropped the fruit.
Okay. Well, as Unique mentioned in a previous episode, that he was going to have one of his hoodlums go by and pick Pernessa's mama up, take her to dialysis or whatever. So you lose across the street, and I feel like y'all not smart at all. Y'all can't check where's y'all situational awareness at? If I'm out here in the streets and I'm moving, I'm always looking around and try to see, if my op is pulling up on me at any point in time. Everybody know Luke Carr.
I was just about to say that.
Everybody know Luke Carr.
The same way with Marvin Carr. I was like, y'all can't tell me you don't see that big black and gold acro leather sitting across the street.
Yeah. With someone sitting inside of it, just chilling.
That's the part I ain't
get. It's just, and then the fact that he can just follow them for miles and be undetected. Said it before, I'll say it again. They need to add YTs as
years. Oh, YouTubers as consultants. Okay.
A focus group or something. That 92, 93 would have been easily catch for Die Hard heads.
Mhm.
Agreed. Yes. That's a good idea, Miss Hunter. They should bring someone in. Like, as much as the fan base is for the Power Universe, we have grown with you over years. So we analyze and we look at every little detail in these shows because we look for more. Because a lot of the times, some of the questions that we have aren't clearly answered in the show. So sometimes I feel like in the writer's room, y'all so focus on pushing the narrative of the story, but you're not thinking about the questions that the fans are going to have and how you can answer that in the show without having us to speculate or coming up with all these rumors. I mean, the idea that we waited 11 years to find out who Breeze is, and we'll get to that when we get to that scene. All right, so Lou pulls up on Pernessa's mom going to the hospital, and Pernessa is already there waiting for her, which I felt like that was kind of stupid. She should have just went over there and got her mom herself, meeting her at the hospital. She's still out in public. Unique had told her that she needed to stay in the house. So this scene right here tells us that Pernessa snuck out to go see her mama because that she was concerned about that. But her being at the hospital versus her going to pick up the mom is the same thing.
Yeah.
You've been outed.
That's right. So that's what he told her to stay in the crib no matter what.
Yeah, he told her to stay there. That was the whole purpose of sending the goon to go pick the mama up so that she didn't have to come out and deal with it. So Lou's sitting here peeping all this, and he's figured it out. So now he knows that Pernessa and her mom came back out of the appointment. She says goodbye to her mom, sends her back with the goon, and she pulls up in a nice red Lexus. I'm like, damn, Katie, that's your money's being spent all over the place while you worry about your mama. You need to be worried about how Unique spent up all your money. Went bought a new whip for Pernessa and a new place.
What was it, the SC400? Yeah.
SC400.
Cool. Yep.
And so Pernessa, again, no situational awareness at all. I feel like she should have been on high alert herself because remember, Unique told her it's about to get smoky out here. I don't want you out here in these streets. So when we knew that she had enough sense to have a strap on her, but yet she didn't have enough situational awareness about herself to look around and see if anybody could possibly be following her. She just jump in the car and ride off like it's a lovely day.
It definitely. I thought we would have saw a scene where after they had their whole discussion where Rock told Unique straight up, like, okay, within family's fair game. I thought we was going to at least get a scene where Unique was going to tell her, like, hey, Vanessa, like, yo, like you said, it's getting real smoky out here. I need you to chill until all of this stuff is clear. Because I don't even think she even knew of the whole meeting and everything. Because I feel like if she did, then she wouldn't have been out in the streets like that. Unique would have been should have said something to him. But
you should have moved her out of the city.
She shouldn't even been in New York.
She should have been
like Xavier. She don't.
Maryland or something.
She should not have been in. Yeah, she should have been in Maryland or Virginia or somewhere.
Yeah, she shouldn't even been in New York. She gave him the warning. Like after she gave you the warning, bro, you didn't think it was. You thought she wasn't. You thought she was playing.
Like shoot, send her over to Jersey. Matter of fact, that's when
perfect.
You could have went over with since you went to go see Sal Baselli's wife. You could have been like, hey, come on. Which matter of fact, nah, I'll get to it when we get to that scene because I don't even want to jump.
I know where you're going with that. I thought about that too. I thought about it too. Red means danger, not for Pernessa. Red does mean danger. That means she's in danger. Lou got what he needed. He did his little recon. He did his due diligence, find out where she stayed at. He was like, bet, I'm rolling back through later on tonight. Rock is over at Uncle Irwin's place, and Irwin done told her, listen, all of us, which we've said before, all the Chinamen have fallen by the wayside dealing with Rock and her business. Even though Rock only put a couple of them down, Rock actually only put down, well, actually Marvin did on his own because Rock didn't even give the order to put any of them down.
Yep.
Marvin was the one that put down Terry.
Yep.
Unique put down the couple at the Golden Pavilion, and then Unique also put down David. But anyway, he ties all this death and despair to Rock. Rock threatens him again. She's like, you can't jump in and jump out, or you gonna get jumped. And he's like, do your words to me. He's like, I'm old. I don't got my family back to China. Like, I don't care what you do to me. You Hundun. He called her the Hundun. He called her mythological creature that's faceless and just feared. I'm like, damn, Rock is the embodiment of evil. That's crazy.
That's what I said.
Rock
Damn,
is still trying to put her a case, but he ain't trying to hear it. He's like, man, fuck all that shit you talking about. Like, you can put me down right now. My family is gone. I'm old, and regardless, I ain't working with you no more. Which we said that them people weren't gonna want to work with her no more after all them people been alive. So we see right here, Rock has lost her hold on this situation. Which again, if we were in that writer's room, we would have had Rock not been over there begging for her to continue to work with this situation. Because keep in mind, Unique had already came and taken over the restaurants anyway. Remember, he was redirecting the fiends across the street. So this situation ain't working for you anyway, Rock. So why you over here begging? You got a whole shopping center across town. You got a whole empty shopping center across town that you could be trapping out of, and you got dirty cops on the payroll that's watching over it. Why are you over here begging for these restaurants, Rock? Like,
I think because of how much work that she got that she needed to push.
And she
got something else I thought we were going to see this episode was to connect. Like, yo, where my bread at? Like, where my cut? Like, why is this work still sitting? Like, I made my end happen and got him to get to work here faster. Like, yo, what's going on? I thought we was going to see that in this episode as well, but
I was looking for that too. And the fact that you got her out here looking for trucks and transport and all that stuff, Rock, you a boss. You out here got a whole shopping center. You could be trapping out a holy moly donut shop over there at your shopping center. Like, yo, you got place where you can not only store the work but trap out of there as well. Like, you got different businesses that are associated with the shopping center, so you could have had each one of those businesses serving for you. Like, not that I know anything about street life, but you had a better advantage than Unique out here on the corner trying to move his work. Rock has always moved her work, behind the scenes, and the fact that she still got that shopping center and is not used, and we seen her pay those cops off at the shopping center, that could have been a good tie-in back to that. Like, what was the point of her paying off the cops at the shopping center if they weren't going to use the shopping center anymore?
I guess because that's when she was going legit. So maybe that's why she didn't want to push through the stuff through there, since she's supposed to be a legit businesswoman. Like, because remember, she was only paying them cops just to watch her store, since they was the ones just trying to get money out of her anyway. So she was just breaking them all just so they would stop vandalizing her place.
Man, if I was Purcell and I seen Kanan coming my way, I would have pulled my pole out up on him. Up the pole on Kanan. Like, what you want? What you back over here for? Kanan roll up on Purcell. That man just try to clean up and do his job.
He just trying to mop the sidewalk.
Mop the side.
That's all he was trying to do. The man out there trying to make a living, mop the sidewalk, and you rolling up on him while he trying to mop the sidewalk, man. Like, leave that man alone.
What you heard about Crystal? What you mean what I heard about Crystal? She ain't here no more. The same thing you heard about her. What you over here for? What you want? I'm gonna call police on your ass. What you want? He's like, how Crystal mom doing? And of course, like, I get it, Katie. You don't know where to go. You don't know what to do. You don't know what to think of right now. But your situational awareness don't work either. Like, you think that you're gonna find out what happened to Crystal. Why you over here harassing Purcell, who knows nothing about the situation? Why you ain't trying to backtrack Crystal's last steps?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you knew she went to your mom's house. You know that. Your mom told you that. You otherwise wouldn't have known that. So that should lead you to think that, well, maybe my mom didn't have something to do with that. How about go to the bus station?
Mm-hmm.
How about go try to find out who's driving that bus that day? You could have put pressure on the people at the bus stop or at the bus station. You knew she was going to Delaware. Hey, yo, who was driving that bus that night to go to Delaware? There was a lot of people on that bus. So people saw that police came on the bus and took Crystal away. Like, you could get your answers if you get out here and really actually do some real work instead of running up on people and trying to threaten people. And, like, this was stupid.
You know what exactly? I don't think he does. I don't think he knows the mother. I don't think he's ever even met her mother. I think he just knows from what Crystal has told him.
La Queen said not the sidewalk. She's screaming.
Real. He had the whole thing out there, the trash joint. He just out there mopping the sidewalk or whatever. See, he got it all out there.
And they're gonna mop
all of that pine saw, the Windex. Yeah, he just trying to clean the sidewalk, man. He came and rolled up on him,
carpet fresh and everything, yo. He vacuuming and mopping the sidewalk.
Just trying to clean the sidewalk, man. Make sure that everything is nice in the front. He come by
with you. I can't do anything with you. Hey, like,
make a living.
The sidewalk. Exactly, Dexter. That man talked to everybody but the bus company. Like, yo, go down to the Greyhound and see what somebody saw.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
wasting his time with this. That's crazy. Yeah, I mean, if somebody would have described the cops at that, and then he would have been able to put two and two together that this is a different set of cops versus the ones he saw over at his mom's shopping center. It's too many people that was on that bus for it not to be out of the street.
I agree with this 100%.
Yeah, the way they moving with Rock, yeah, she is definitely a strategist. Like her out here begging for people to move her work. We've always saw Rock move on to the next. It's just like when the corner situation wasn't working out, when the police was rolling up on the corners, she moved all of her work to the apartments.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? When that didn't work, she moved her work to the restaurant. That's not working. Move the work to the restaurant. I mean, to the shopping center. Like, yeah, Rock is more of a strategist than this, instead of her out here begging for this situation. Juke, stay out this piece of place. Don't go here no more, Juke.
Right.
That man, I screamed and hollered when the man said, "You like this pizza?" You know what made me think about, y'all? I ain't trying to be disrespectful or anything, but we've been talking about off camera a lot about how Jukebox has gained weight. Like the character has gained weight. We're trying to figure out, did she gain the weight for another role? Was she with child or anything like that? And when he said, "You love this pizza right now," I'm like, Juke, stop eating the pizza. That's why you gaining weight. I died laughing when he said that. He's like, "You love this pizza." I was thinking to myself, shit, she can't enjoy it because every time she get ready to go get a slice, you pop up.
You did. And it wasn't until then when he said that I realized how many scenes we had with her and Kanan at the pizza place.
At this pizza place, yep.
At the same pizza place. That's when it hit me. I was like, damn, you know what? I was like, they was always at the pizza shop.
Well, you know what? She didn't even get to eat the pizza the last time he popped up. She threw it away. She threw it away. She trying to get her a slice or whatever. And Garcia roll up on her talking about why you came asking about that girl the other day. Like, what you know about that? And I felt like that. I feel like that's a question he should have asked her that night he gave her the information. Why wait a few days to ask? The girl was already unalive. You told her that she was unalive. So
yep.
that just didn't make sense to me. And she was like, "Man, I ain't know nothing. I don't know nothing. And like, fuck what you talking about," or whatever the case may be. Garcia, he needs to go because he created a little bit of problem this episode too. Garcia, I need them to put Garcia down.
And this right here is when the whole episode got predictable for me, except for one scene. It was one scene that caught me off guard. Everything else after that was very predictable. I already knew where it was going after this.
Yep, that was easy. That was predictable. We knew exactly where they were going with this. And I agree with whoever said in the comments that why Juke ain't switched up her routine at this point. Like, he know exactly where to roll up on her at.
Mm-hmm. Right, Xavier. I was just about to say, yeah, it's the clothes, because that's what I said. I did the digging myself because I thought she was with child this season, but she wasn't. She, like, not too long after this, she was doing Broadway, just like you said. She's super skinny. Like, I think maybe it was for the role and as well as for the clothes. Like I was telling Retro off camera, this is around the time, like, you had TLC, you had Escape, and them different girl groups. Like, this is how, like, a lot of tomboys were dressing back in that era. Like, it became the real big baggy clothes. So,
but they've always had her dress like a tomboy. All 4 seasons, she's always dressed like a tomboy. But it just seems like she's gained a little bit more weight, even in the face.
I mean, that's true. She could have, like I said, I'm thinking it's also something else she played on because I saw her in, it was some movie.
You talking about Cinnamon? Cinnamon?
I can't. Nah, not that. It was something else. I saw a clip of her, and I just think it was probably multiple things. I thought she was with child, but from my research, she was never with child because not too long after this last season, she posted about it. I want to say within like a month, maybe that she was back on Broadway because she was posting about it in her stories and stuff. So I was like, if she was with child, she did a excellent job of hiding it. I don't know how she did it, but like that would be too quick in my opinion. But anyways, I'm with you. Garcia got to go.
Garcia got to go. Shout out to the 56 people that is in the live. Y'all make sure y'all hit that like button. Get us up in that algorithm so we can keep these discussions about our show going on. I'm ready for Garcia. And I guess at this point, Garcia has just totally forgotten about his orders to try to solve Howard's unaliving because all he's done all season is harassed Jukebox. He ain't wrote up on nobody else. He ain't tried to investigate nothing else, nobody else. But Kanan and Juke is where he's always harassing them. He harasses Juke more than anything. We learned in last week's episode or the week before where obviously Burke had talked about Jukebox before because he pulled up on her and said, Burke said you were a good citizen or whatever. So I guess that's why he's pressing her out so much because he thinks that she gonna become his CI like how she was for Burke. But technically she wasn't even a CI for Burke. She did Burke a solid because Burke did a solid for her.
Mm-hmm. I think that's why he pushed up on her this episode was because two things. One, she asked him for that solid to find out about Crystal. Mm-hmm. And then once he found out he did, his detective work, and that witness just told him a black lady was seen walking out of the building afterwards. Immediately he went to, it was Juke, and she trying to see what we have on that situation, so she trying to cover her tracks. Because remember, he was like, you know what I'm saying, it was a black girl. So what you know about that? Meaning like, okay, Juke, you did it. I think if she probably would have never went to him about that, he probably still would have been trying to roll up on her. Because remember, the last time he rolled up on her, he was trying to get information on, not Kanan, Unique and stuff like, what was the connection with, Ronnie and all that. She like, I don't know what you're talking about, 5-0. So I think that's the only reason why he pressed up on her about this one.
She really could have played it off. Yeah, I was asking about her because she was my group member in Butter. So yeah, she went missing. We were trying to find her or whatever the case may be. Yeah, drop Garcia off because we tired.
I agree with both of these right here. I for sure thought
we were going to see Baptiste. Yeah,
we seen him in what, one episode?
I think
actually, it was that flashback episode. It was the flashback episode.
Yeah, it was a flashback episode.
Yep.
And that's when they were talking about they wanted to figure out,
what happened to Howard.
Yep.
Yeah, it was like, they wanted to go on with Malcolm or whatever, but now it just kind of manifested to what's going on with Famous, what's going on with Crystal. I think he's just trying to nail the Thomas family.
He's just trying to get something at this point because, like Xavier said, he investigating Famous's unaliving. He came up short there. He don't came up short on what happened with Howard, and now this situation with Crystal, he don't came up short again. So yeah, he put a battery in Juke's back. Because mind you, Kanan had already said that his mom was responsible for it, right? And Juke, defended Rock as she always does. And when she heard Garcia say that it was a black lady that came out of the apartment complex, that put the doubt in her head about Rock as well.
The crazy thing is, and I said it off camera, of course, it was like, Garcia, you didn't really do your job that well at all. You said it was a black lady. That could have been who knows how many people in New York. So it like black lady what? Was she's 5'8"? Right. Was she's 5'4"? Long hair, short hair? What is she?
Right, honey.
Right. What's wrong with that? I can't believe it. A black woman in a black neighborhood that walked out of a building. We got something here, y'all. This is great police work here. We got something here.
He didn't do his job good at all with the description. And that's why I was like, if he would have said, we said there was a black lady short hair, that would eliminate Rock immediately.
Yep.
Xavier, they're investigating Howard because he was found with Ronnie.
Yep.
They trying to put the connection together why Howard was found in that warehouse with Ronnie. That's what Baptiste is trying to find out. Because he ain't believing what that looked like.
Yeah. Because remember, that's why Garcia rolled up on Unique and asked him about that, because he thinks that Unique took both of them out. He said he's the number one suspect.
Man, somebody take this scene right here because this thing pissed me off. Am I the only one that felt like Kanan should have been woke up right here?
I definitely feel like Katie should have woke up. With this coupled with what I said offline too.
Bro, in this scene right here, I thought for sure we were probably going to see maybe a glimmer of hope and a doubt from Kanan. Because Kanan rolls up to Snaps and Pop's restaurant, and of course he asked them about the police and Crystal, and they give him that whole BS run around like, nah, we told you about Fame. We can't keep contacting our people about it because it's going to make us look suspicious. Like, don't worry about that right now. We got bigger fish to fry. And I'm thinking in my head, like, yo, that should give you right there. Like, if it was so easy for them to go to their police contacts about Fame, they could do the same thing about Crystal. But now all of a sudden it's, nah, we can't do that because that we don't want them to start investigating us. And I'm like, how? Like, if they working for you, they can give you those answers with no problem.
Right. And then the fact that they tried to redirect the conversation back to Famous. Well, what about that stuff that we told you about Famous? If that didn't scream pin up, I don't know what else did.
And then even as they're talking about getting doing the whole deal with Unique, be best for all of them to come together, to work together, and get this whole deal and whatnot. And then when he I'm trying to remember off the top of my head what it was that I thought it was another glimmer of hope when Kanan said to them then, like, oh, y'all think y'all can control me. So I'm like, you finally starting to realize they starting to try to manipulate you. Boy, I was like,
exactly.
Finally, we get it. I'm like, finally this fool get it. Still didn't get it.
You know what, Dexter? That would have been dope though if Pops would have dressed up like Rock. If she was really trying to pin up on Rock. At that point, I don't really think that they was trying to pin that to Rock as much as they was. That didn't click in their head at that time. That was an opportunity to set Rock up as well. I think what they were trying to do is find out what exactly Kanan know and asking about through his girl, and they just got rid of her because they didn't want to leave no loose ends. But that would have been dope though.
I thought they did, because after when Pops talked to Crystal, and Crystal said, oh, okay, I see what you're saying. Never mind. You're right.
Yeah, it wasn't until Crystal revealed that Kanan thought that Rock was the one that put down Famous that it clicked in her head that we can pin this on Rock. She didn't go there with the intention.
Sees a light bulb actually come on. Yeah, while she's making the sandwich, like, oh yeah, so we can just go ahead and pin all this on Rock.
Exactly.
But they couldn't let her live because she was going to circle back around and somehow, some way get to Kanan. And say, well, this is who it was. A black lady, short hair.
Yep. Or even the cops. The cops picked me up.
Right.
And then this black lady with short hair showed up, fixed me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, and let me go.
Loud sweater, whatever. You knew it wasn't gonna be Rock wearing a loud sweater because she.
Well, actually, she kind of told on herself who they were. She had to unalive her because remember, she said to Crystal as she was fixing the sandwich, she said, "Kanan came and asked us what we know about Famous." So she kind of revealed who they were anyway.
Yeah, there was no way they could let her live.
If people would have went back and told Kanan that, Kanan would have figured out that it was Snap and Pops that was involved. So Kanan, I thought right here, was going to wake up and realize that, okay, y'all running y'all own angle for real, like Juke said.
It was in his face, but he was.
It was right. It was in his head. It was in his head, but he's so pressed. He's so pressed about Crystal. He worried about Crystal.
It was right there. It was, how can you not put it together that they trying to run game on me because I'm the one that's asking all the questions about Famous. They trying to spin that around, and then because I'm asking all the questions about Famous, they really kidnapped her to see what she actually know. None of it makes sense for it to point back to Rock.
I think they also realized here that what they thought they was going to accomplish by the whole Famous thing and pinning on Rock, by them taking out Crystal, usurped that. it usurped that, because if they would have left everything the way it was, it would have worked out exactly the way they wanted it to. Not that it didn't, but they created a little bit of ways for themselves by taking Crystal out too. If they would have left Crystal alone and pinned all this on Rock to begin with, then everything would be cool with them. But the fact that they took this back to the whole famous thing, that should tell Kanan right there that they are involved.
And then there was other nuggets that they dropped off in here too. Like peep how they said, well, one, we got our own transportation, we have our own connection, we have our own connect, we have XYZ. And then they also mentioned that Rock
Working
has
with
some
Unique.
Yep, but they didn't mention we're working with Unique. Well, they mentioned it, but they didn't say that Unique was the person who they was getting the connect, the connect. That Unique is pretty much the connect because he's working with Jersey, and got some other stuff going on. They didn't show their hand in that, but they kind of did show their hand.
They did, but Kanan didn't pick up on it.
But he didn't. Yeah, what do you?
They played they trump card too soon, because
like, what do you?
Because they mentioned about they had a nephew that they wanted to link Kanan with. Mm-hmm. They mentioned that they had their own connect and transportation. Okay. How turnkey it was. You working with Unique, we want a bigger cut. And then Kanan was like, well, Rock ain't giving out them type of slices, is it? So Kanan should have realized right there that they are trying to get Rock out of the way so that they can get a piece of the business as well. That's what he should have realized.
And it's kind of, I don't want to get to that scene yet. I'm going to wait till we get to that scene. The other one that I just was like, okay, if that wasn't really a wake-up call for Kanan to just be like, nah, bro, what y'all got going on? But I'm gonna wait till we get to that scene.
In reality, Unique should not be able to go over here to this lady house.
Nope.
Never mind the fact rubbing all over her body. Unique should not be over here at this lady house. They don't fuck with us.
Trying to get some cheeks. I ain't even gonna lie. At one point,
I mean, he rubbing all over that lady body. I'm like, lady, she don't want you.
That's where she come in.
You not by yourself, because I for sure I was watching. I was like, bruh, I swear, it turns into a love scene. I'm turning this joint off right now.
Yeah, I'm not turning it back on.
I was like, I'm turning this joint off.
What you doing? I'm like, baby,
thank you, Miss Honey. It was creepy as hell, especially when he embraced her and gave her a warm embrace. I'm like, man, stop rubbing all over that lady body.
Yeah,
leave that lady alone.
Look, he was rubbing on her leg and everything. Like,
I was like, if this turns into what I think is about to happen, I was like, I'm turning this show off. Hey, I don't care.
Elle said she probably been with some moolies before. She seemed to be very comfortable. She seemed to be very comfortable with Unique, so she don't seem to be scared of moolies. So yeah, but he takes his ass over here and manipulates her, telling basically. He tired of dealing with Russo because every time he go deal with Russo tell him stand down. So he kind of manipulates this situation a little bit and goes over and tell Teresa that Rock and Lou are threatening his family, and he appeals to her sympathy. He appeals to her grief with this because she's still grieving her husband and son. So she was like, Russo is going to get a word from me, and I'm like, but we also learned here too that she and the rest of the family members and the crew is aggravated with Russo by not retaliating on what happened with Sal. So Unique uses this to his advantage to manipulate her into being a benefactor to him.
Exactly. I don't understand why she didn't feel the exact same way as Russo did.
Yeah.
Before I got introduced to the Russo character. Because Sal came to you and said, hey, I need you to put this in motion so I can take out Rock. I saw that. I was like, I'm going to get to it in a second.
Oh my God, Dexter. That's exactly what that reminded me of. Roddy and Juliana part 2.
I said, I'm going to get to it.
I understand why Roddy did what he did because she was the plug. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Roddy was giving that D up for the word.
And then he had just got out, so he probably was like, I'm gonna go.
Roddy was trying to get that work by any means necessary.
Yeah, he was trying to get.
That's why he was over there rubbing all over her body.
No sense, none.
That was a good one, Dexter. That gave me a good laugh. You're right. Go ahead, Fresh. I'm sorry, brother.
Oh no, you good? Shit, I forget. Oh, I know. Yeah, she should have been mad as Russo was that like he ain't helped Sal. Like, so that's why I didn't understand how she was so able to be cool with Unique. Like, but my husband came to you to ask you to help line up rocking them, you wouldn't do it.
He said no. He said
And
no.
then I was trying to figure out how she got so much. You going to her, to Teresa, she don't have no power. So I was trying to figure out how she gonna have, even if she called Russo, like, bruh, like you ain't got no power. How you gonna have, just because you say something to Russo, you think that's gonna do something? Because you're not the one that's in charge of the family. Like, you do nothing in the family. We all know in the Italian mobs, like, unfortunately, none of the women hold weight. So I didn't understand her saying, like, yeah, I'm gonna call and we gonna get this all squared away. Like, I'm gonna make sure. And then even then, right there, it's like, if you were so worried about finessing them, you should have said, "Can my family come live with you?" To all
That's what I thought he was going to ask. That's exactly what I thought he was going to ask. I thought he was going to ask, can his son and baby mom come over here and chill? But again, he rubbing all over this lady body or whatever. And I'm like, listen, this scene right here, early Tyler, I feel like you probably went down to the Bronx, Brooklyn. Someone got you a little Motel 6 type room. Why are you still in New York? You need to be in South Carolina, Alabama, Florida.
They had enough straps in there, so it should have been gone somewhere.
Yeah, he should have been gone, man. He should not have been in New York. Hell, he could have went down to Portsmouth in Virginia. Anywhere but New York. Why are you still here hiding out? But I guess he's supposed to be hiding out because, you know, he had went and dropped that info on Stefano about Marvin. So I guess he was just waiting to hear the word on the street that Marvin got put down. So he calls himself hiding out temporarily because he thinks that because of what he's done with Stefano, that gonna take care of Marvin. When we get a knock at the door, I'm like, oh yeah. And this idiot answers the door. He don't got a friend to bring him some Chinese food or something over. Tell me what took you so long.
No, that's his friend. That was his cousin. I forgot his name, but that was
Calvin.
His cousin.
His name was Calvin.
Yeah, and Calvin, like, because I saw an interview you did, and I hate to call you out like this, but and maybe he was doing this just to get people to watch it. But I saw the interview you did where you're talking about the ending of this episode was gonna have folks in tears. Like,
it did. It had me in tears. Put my glasses. Let me get my Gucci's and put my Gucci's back on. Do I need to put my Gucci's back on? It had me in tears. I'm still in tears.
Had me in tears. If anything, it had me pissed off.
Yeah,
it had me pissed off and in tears.
Stefano, the reason why he didn't was because
he told on Marvin. Yeah, he told on Marvin.
Yeah, he told on Marvin.
Yeah,
he basically said that Marvin was the one that gave him the okay, insinuating like Marvin knew that it was a made man and still told him,
gave him the green light and take
gave him the green light. Yeah.
What I don't understand is, hold right here first. What I don't understand is he got a strap on the bed right next to him. Okay. He got a strap on a nightstand right next to him. He gets up and put the strap that he had on the nightstand in the back of his back. You should have went to the door with the strap in your hand.
Pointing at the door.
At the door. You should have been like tapping on the door with the strap.
Yeah, like open the door up.
Like out of all the straps.
How you let Marvin bust through here? How you let Marvin bust through here? First of all, Calvin should have been strapped. Calvin should have had a strap on him when he's at the door. Marvin,
he might have. I'm thinking Marvin just rolled up behind him before he could get to it
and pushed him in. He did an OC on him. This is like how Unique did OC when OC was going in the door. Marvin ran up behind him and pushed him down, or whatever. And he upped his pole on him, deleted him, and then deleted Calvin. And I'm like, you idiot! You had two straps on you, and you didn't even get to bust one shot off, bro. You deserve to be unalive. For everything you did, you deserve to be unalive, you dummy. And just like that, Early Tyler and another cousin gone to power hell. And Marvin's so petty. He is. He's so petty. He took the people food. He took the people food.
Of course, that was the best part of the whole thing for me.
That was so funny, yo. He took the people food.
When he took the food, I couldn't stop laughing. I said, "Dang!" And it brought me back to which one was it? From the low boys that said that he really eat that much in real life. Was it
you know, if y'all haven't checked out our interview So y'all remember the crew that Jukebox was doing the boosting with? We interviewed two of the characters that played the Low Life Boys, and they told us like behind the scenes that Marvin was eating all the time on set too. They told us like Marvin looked at him at one point on set and was like, "Don't mess with my soup." So Marvin really does eat like this in real life. So I guess they wrote that into his character because they said in between shooting scenes, Marvin was always eating on set. So I guess that's why they put that in to his character. But Miss Honey, you make a very good point here. Early Tyler was a remedial character. He was a waste of time. I felt like they should have done something. If they were going to do anything with Early Tyler, they should have had it lead back to the fact that he was Unique's benefactor. That's what I wanted to come out versus this whole Stefano thing. The result could have been the same. Marvin still put down Early Tyler, but I wanted him to put Early Tyler down for helping Unique. Not for this bullshit with Stefano. I don't know why they went that direction in the story, but what they showed us with Early Tyler, we automatically thought that Early Tyler's days was numbered because he put the battery in the back about Rock and Unique, and that he was helping Unique. That's what I thought he was going to be ended for. They situated him for some bullshit with Stefano. It was a waste of time. We didn't need to spend as much time with Early Tyler.
Yeah, because remember, we thought Unique was going to be the one that flipped and take him out.
Because we
thought Unique was going to flip out on him because the doctor has said, you're right, the doctor has said that. He crazy.
Yeah. He's like a German Shepherd or something, he said.
That bit the nurse.
Yeah. So he just thought, well, it would have made sense that it would have been like, all right, you working with them. That's kind of a conflict of interest. I got to get you up out of here too. I got to get you situated.
So this thing right here pissed me off too.
Juke needed to be slapped in the face.
She needed to have the shit slapped out of her. At this point, I'm tired of everybody. And the crazy part about it is the only people that really ride for Rock right now is Lou. I'm tired of Marvin. I'm tired of Juke. I'm tired of Kanan especially. I'm just tired of everybody because Rock, again, she keep telling y'all the same shit over and over again. Her story ain't changed. Y'all keep asking her the same questions over and over again. Like, what are y'all expecting her to say? She done told y'all over and over again, I ain't had shit to do with this. Juke roll up on Rock and say, Rock, what you know about what happened to Crystal? And Rock like, what the fuck you talking about? She like, listen, I need you to be careful what you finna say to me right now because you ain't a little kid no more. And I like the energy that she came with Jukebox. I like the energy she came with Jukebox. But she it almost said this. This is what this said without her saying this. I let Kanan get by with this disrespectful shit that he doing because that's my son. And I got to do better about repairing that relationship. But I ain't finna have that same leniency with you that I have with Kanan because you know better. You know how I roll. And I guess what I'm confused about is Juke told us something here that we hadn't seen before. We have never seen Juke have any resentment towards Rock. But in this scene right here, she pretty much told Rock that, listen, you ain't never saw me. I see you, although you never saw me. And the only time you did see me is when I was sitting next to Kanan. Where the fuck that come from?
I was thinking that exact same thing. I was thinking when she said that, I was thinking it was coming from one, because of what Garcia said that made her think Rock had something to do with Crystal being put down. And then two, I'm thinking like, now that she's on the fence and somewhat can't trust Rock, she was saying that as I always looked up to you as my mom, and now like I'm finding this stuff out about you. Like I've always seen, but like basically like anytime, like, you always looked at you as a mother, but you never looked at me as a daughter. You just always wanted me to watch out for Kanan. That's how I took it. So I think like all of that stuff was starting to come out, because now I realized it did like a 180, because remember in the early seasons, she was close to Rock. She wasn't close with Marvin. And then now she getting close with Marvin, and now she not as close that much anymore with Rock.
That's a good point. But I feel like what we have happening here is Kanan's constant on repeat. Rock is starting to weigh down Juke. And with Garcia's, the black lady came out of the apartment, is now put Juke in a place where she's thinking like, could I be wrong? But like this from season 1, Rock has always been there for you. She took you in when Marvin beat your ass and put you out for being a lesbian. She embraced you with the whole situation with Kenya.
Yep.
He was the one that called you when she situated the baby with Uniques. Like, you don't have no beef with Rock. Rock has never not mothered you. Rock mothered you. We also learned in this scene too. Rock told her like, "Fuck is you talking about, Juke? Fuck is you talking about? I put down Famous. That kid lived with us for a year when his mama and sister was in the shelter. And you think I would put him down?"
Exactly.
I think what the writers wanted to show us is that Kanan and Jukebox is growing to something different. You know, I think it definitely, like, she definitely wasn't thinking about none of that type of stuff. And then when we look here, like when Rock said, you know, you need to be careful, you know, your next words, you need to be careful of what you say to me. You know, I think pretty much at that point, she's just saying like, I can't treat you as my niece, you know, because the way you talking to me is not as my niece. So you're going to get, I'm going to check everything that you say and not really have to explain myself the way that I normally would explain myself to you as my niece, because, you know, and I think the writers just wanted to show that the relationship between them two is growing, because we see, you know, at some point they get really, really close, you know, and then we go into OG Power, you know, we could, you know, it goes into details of how their relationship was.
Opportunity miss. But at that time, I don't think that they realized that they were doing Raising Kanan when they introduced the Jukebox character in Power. They spoke about Marvin not by name, but just by his association, my father. I wish they would have mentioned something about Rock. I wish that we could have learned how the adult Juke felt about Rock, about Kanan's mother.
She has threatened Kanan.
Yes, she has, Xavier. Now, I disagree with you on that, Xavier. Yes, she has. And she has mothered Juke. She's mothered Juke all throughout the seasons. Everything that Juke has went through, Rock has always been there for. She stayed with Rock now when Marvin put her ass
Gave
on
her the
the
little
house.
chain, gave her the little chain and everything.
Gave her the necklace. She was there screaming and cheering her on with butter. I do want to go back to that thing that you're talking about, though, because I felt like somebody did mention at the dinner table that day about Juke taking the test for Stuyvesant too. I want to say it was Marvin. Listen, at the end of the day, Rock wasn't Juke's mother.
Yep.
She filled that role during the time she needed to fill that role. It was ultimately Marvin's responsibility to be a parent to Juke, not Rock's. Rock did what she was supposed to do. She was the aunt.
Yep.
She was the aunt. She didn't try to replace Juke's mother. Even with that situation, now she did play in her face a little bit when Kenya came around. She even tried to protect Juke. Remember when Juke asked her, why did Kenya come over here when the night she got shot up? And Rock told her she was coming over here to beg her pardon or to apologize for how she treated you. That's not why she came over there, but that's what she told Juke. I'm sorry, I disagree with the writing here. I think that going back to I think it was Lock Queen that said that her frustration with Rock is by way of Kanan. That's what the writers are showing us here. That Juke is now starting to look at Rock different because by way of Kanan. I agree with that. Yep, that's right. She did threaten Marvin. Rock threatened Marvin about fucking with you.
Yep.
She did. Yep.
So yeah, I was confused here by this thing too. I was just like, I literally thought, and we were wrong again on our predictions, because I thought literally here is where she was going to bring up, like they kind of touched on Kanan, but ain't really get into it.
She did.
But I was thinking it was going to be more so like, hey, this is what your son is thinking, so you need to come out and have a full blown.
She didn't have to, because Rock kind of opened that door for her. When Rock said, "Okay, still think I'm on that." I took down his friend shit. They spent more time with the whole Crystal situation than anything. But this thing just made me sad though. It kind of made me sad though, because I like the Juke and Rock dynamic, and I feel like after this scene right here, those two characters will never be the same anymore either. Yeah. By Rock's reaction to it, that actually hurt Rock. She was more hurt by that, by Juke accusing her of it, than she is with Kanan.
Yeah, because she said, I can expect that from Kanan, but not from you. And that's why I was hoping in this scene that the writers would have put in where Rock would have went into further detail
Thank you, Dexter. Thank you
with
very
feud.
much.
They are.
Agreed. They
I
keep
thought
having the
they would have
same
went in,
conversation in the same booth at the same diner with the same glass of water. Every episode, they keep having the same fucking conversation. Move, please move. That's why I thought we were going to get a reveal on something here, or we were going to get something out of this. The only thing we got out of here is this is everyone now is turning against Rock. And I'm sorry, at this point, the wheels start turning in my head. Remember the last few episodes of Power, everyone started turning on Ghost like that.
Yep.
And I'm like, damn, everybody turning on Rock. She ain't got no friends. And as the episode progresses, we'll see that Rock is losing all her supporters. This scene here is stupid as fuck too, yo. Who won it?
This was the only scene that caught me off guard, and I did not see this coming. This was the only thing.
Glass of water. It is.
So
there you go.
We see Stefano and Russo meeting up at a park, and we come to find out that the entire time Russo was behind the hit on Sal and contracted Stefano to contract Rock and Marvin and them to take out Sal so that Russo could get the chair to run the family. I didn't see that coming. That I can say right now, this was the only shocker for me the entire episode. Like, this was the entire shocker for me, like the entire episode, because the way they said it, like, oh, we played them, and I was like, dang, you know what? I never even thought about Russo even doing that or whatnot. So to find that out, and then I'm thinking, like, before it happened, I'm thinking they both going to team up to try to take out Rock and them, but of course it switches around, and I think that's only because at this point where Russo mentions Teresa was jumping on him, you know, about getting revenge, and then when Stefano mentions to him, like, you know, well, maybe I should tell your family, like, you know, you had something to do with it, and I think that's when Russo was like, yo, I don't have no choice, I gotta unalive him, and he literally stabbed Stefano right in the gut. I think he thought I think the reason why he didn't confirm or even check is because of exactly where he poked him at. You know what I'm saying? That was like a major artery area. So I figured, like, once he hit him,
twisted it too. I think you hear the twist too.
He was like, "Oh, it's it." Like, I hit him right here, like in the liver, because I think the liver is up here. He was like, I hit him in the major artery. Like, yeah, he's gone. Like, that's why I think he never confirmed it. I thought maybe he was going, you know, hit him from ear to ear, but I figured, like,
that's what he needed to.
I think that's why he did what he did. It was just like, oh, he'll just bleed out here on this bench because of how he hit him in a major artery area.
Couple of things. The first is, did we even need this?
I think so.
I think so.
Okay. All right. I'll come back to that question. Second of all, this reminds me of how Dre did the priest in OG Power. It almost looks like it's at the same spot. The same spot, same park bench. It was just very nostalgic. So that was a callback to OG Power. And three, do you think that they showed us this to show us that Russo is sloppy and can't get that work done? Because remember, he couldn't put Sal down. So the fact that he was unsuccessful at unaliving Stefano just shows that the character really isn't mob boss material. I think that's what they're trying to show us here. I just don't know why we needed this.
I didn't think that. I think they were showing it more so because now we're about to gear up for all-out war in season 5. Like, now it's really about to be Stefano versus Sal. So, like, whoever Stefano got on his side, you know, Rock, Marvin, Lou versus Unique and all of them people. That's how I figure. I thought they would just set it up for season 5.
Xavier said bye-bye Stefano. Ain't no bye-bye Stefano. It's hello Stefano. He ain't gone.
Yeah,
I think it's gonna be
gone.
really interesting. I think it's gonna be really, really interesting because, like, they have to at some point reveal, you know, Phil Russo, the part that he played in getting Sal situated. So now they got to explain at some point. I think that the Jersey family is going to find out at some point, you know, that he got rid of Sal, and not to mention that his wife, or that Sal's wife, already said, I wonder why he's sitting on his hands on this. You know, he always wanted his spot, and even the people that work for Phil, wonder why he's sitting his hands on it, and they're tired of him. But now I think it's going to pretty much get out of, this is why that it went this direction. Now Stefano is going to have to make a choice, because he played a role in it too. You didn't get permission from any other families to go ahead and take out a mob boss, so he's going to have to make a choice as well. So I think Phil's going to be out quick. I think Phil's going to be going quick.
But you know what I was expecting of this thing? This was definitely a turn in a different direction than where I thought the story was getting ready to take us. The story, going back to our theory for last week, we thought that they were all going to roll on Unique and Rock. What I expected Russo to say to Stefano was, listen, I'm tired of these moolies, because they said that. They said, I'm tired of working with these moolies. They're more trouble than what they were. I thought they were getting ready to band together and roll down on Rock and Unique. That's what I thought that this was getting ready to take us to. And that takes us back to our prediction that, Rock and Unique are going to have to be forced to join forces again because the mob bosses have joined forces to take them out. That would, to me, would have been a better story.
Yep.
And would have got us back to synergy with Unique and Rock. That would have instantly gave us synergy with Unique and Rock, because at the beginning of the episode, they started out as enemies. By the end of the episode, I expected them to be allies again. But they took us this direction right here by attempting on Stefano's life. That's why we needed this to advance the story forward. They could have closed the story out with the Italians by having them all get together and take them out. So I'm tired of Stefano. I don't want no more of the fish man. I'm tired of him. I'm tired. Speaking of being tired, Kanan comes over here, which appears that Lou has called for Kanan to come over to Cafe Voos where they can sit down and talk. And Lou's like, fuck is this I hear about you working with Unique or trying to work with Unique? Why is you even dealing with Unique at all when he an enemy of the family? Yo, you back working with my mother again.
You back working with my mother? After all she done to you? You want to work with Rock? You want to work with my mother? That doesn't make any sense to me, Uncle Lou. And if you working with my mother, that means you against me too. You against me too.
I thought for sure Lou was gonna put hands on that boy, and I was hoping
somebody please put hands on him. I've been waiting for Marvin to do it, but that would have been really good if Lou would have whooped his ass right there at that damn bar. Lou tells him, yo, bro, this is my sister. This is my sister. This is my big sister, yo. And if Unique going against the family, he going against all of us. He's like, you, Jew, Marvin, Rock, y'all my family. My mother.
He's like, oh, he only going against people that said it next to Rock. That ain't me. Ain't she supplying you?
She's your mother.
And she's your mother. Like, she's your mother.
My mother.
Ain't she supplying you? So you standing next to her too, because that's your supply. That doesn't make any sense to me. Like, it is so, oh my God.
I thought Lou was on to something when Lou told him that, listen, stop blaming her about the D-Wiz situation. I put down D-Wiz. I had the ability to say no. And if I would have said no, we would have found another way. Yep. Stop blaming your mom for that. He just needed to expand on that conversation just a little bit more by saying, Kanan, the reason why we had to put your friend down was because of the stupid decision that y'all made.
You made on behalf of what you thought was on the behalf of Rock.
Yeah, because remember he wrote up on him about them corners. He wrote up on Rock. He wrote up on D-Wiz about them corners, not knowing that his mother had given those corners to Unique.
Exactly. You didn't know any better then. You think you know some better. You think you know better now. This was a decision that you made that got D-Wiz situated. A situation that you didn't even had nothing to do with. Oh, they on Rock corners. You know, we should do something about that. You should be going to school and doing what she told you to do. Stupid.
Because if she didn't put him down, Unique was gonna put both of y'all down.
Yes.
So she didn't have a choice.
They said streets need a body. Who's gonna be the body? Was it gonna be you or D-Wiz? Was you ready to be you?
I don't understand why they don't revisit that with him. I thought Lou was getting ready to put some in his head right here. And then Lou does a stupid move by telling him he was on the right path. He was on the right path by telling Kanan, listen, your mother is more of a man than any nigga I know out here in these streets. Your mother carried a weight that even we can't carry. And he segues into the fact that she put Joyce down and why she put Joyce down. Lou tells Kanan that, listen, your grandmother asked me and Marvin to put her out of her misery. We couldn't do it, but Rock put that weight on her. She carried that burden for us and the entire family. Everything that Rock does, she does for the family, which I can't say. Rock does do some bad things, but none of them have been for selfish reasons. At least I don't think they have been. None of them have really been for selfish reasons. It's always been an attempt to move the family forward.
She always playing cleanup.
That too. But I don't think that he should have told Kanan about. Excuse me, y'all. I don't think that he should have told Kanan about that. To me, that put another battery in his back.
To be honest, I didn't even think that they even knew that that's what she did.
Especially when Juke had asked her and she didn't address it then. So to me, that's making things worse for Rock by confirming that.
So I was shocked to hear that because I didn't think anybody knew that that's what she did.
And I don't think they needed to know.
Yeah.
I don't think they needed to know.
In the right place. He just didn't have to go that far.
Yeah, he didn't have to go that far. He had given him enough to put him in a different headspace. He had given him enough. I don't think he needed to go that far.
Yeah.
Lou talked too much, right, Miss Honey? He wasn't even on the bottom. But overall, it was a good scene. We needed to have some more of Kanan with his uncles. But what really should have happened is Lou should have put hands on him. And what really would have been nice if Marvin would have showed up too, and both of them would have addressed Kanan about his behavior towards Rock. Like that's something we've needed to see for a while now. Because Marvin been itching to get his hands on Kanan anyway. You know, Lou has never addressed Kanan about the disrespect towards his mom, but Marvin always does. Every time Kanan has ever been disrespectful to Rock in front of him, he's always addressed Kanan. He's always checked him on it. I really want to see.
Waiting to belt.
Yeah. Okay. This is the scene. Why did we need this?
Thank you.
We didn't need no more pebbles. We didn't need no more pebbles. Nakia is meeting with Aisha and Juke, and she's called him down to the record label to offer her condolences about Crystal. It almost felt like she was low-key trying to, put together a butter reunion or something. Do you think that's maybe what her motive was? Because I just didn't understand what we were getting here. And then her scene I don't know if it was the actress delivery, but it just felt so weird. It felt so awkward. Jukebox, where are you at? Juke. It was just like, it just did not feel like it was necessary.
Yeah, I was trying to figure that out. I was like, we haven't seen her since season 3. I ain't seen her since season 3. And now in the last episode, you pop back up. I was like, what was this? We could have dealt without this thing. It served no purpose.
Yeah,
I guess maybe to see like the emotions that Juke was going through. But
that's all. But they could have gave us that another way.
Yeah, we could have did that with just her and Aisha. And then same thing to figure back to what you said, Retro. I felt it didn't feel right because I'm trying to remember when they were doing the butter. I don't ever remember her calling her Juke or even saying jukebox. I don't ever remember like
she did
calling her that.
But the way she kept saying it, I agree with you, Miss Honey. It was a disingenuous scene because it just felt so out of place. There's no chemistry between the actors. And the whole time that Nakia was involved with them, she was just bitching and hooping and hollering with them. So she doesn't come off as genuine about being concerned about her well-being. And it's like, fuck Aisha, you more concerned about Juke. Jukebox, what's going on? Juke, talk to me. Juke, where you at? So I guess you're right. It's to lead us, as a plot device to lead us that Jukebox is having a hard time processing this. That's what this is. But it was just stupid. And then Aisha was like, they became friends. When?
Right. I don't think that's when. They never became friends. They just was like cordial because of Kanan.
They could have redirected this thing to something else. More out of this scene right here. This scene right here definitely was a ghost moment where Rock is back at the house and she is pretty much, Marvin is telling Rock that Stefano, he ain't fucking with us no more.
Yep.
And of course she blames him for all of it. And she kind of go off on him or whatever. And they have a real nasty argument. And Rock is holding in some frustrations towards Marvin that she hadn't let out. And we learned in this scene right here, she told Marvin that, well, if you hadn't been fucking with Stefano on the side to begin with, we wouldn't be here. And on top of that, what's this I hear about you trying to talk to Stefano about replacing me? And Marvin like, fuck out of here. I ain't say that shit. That's how he approached me. So I feel like,
as soon as you mentioned it.
I feel like this scene right here, I was like, oh my God, now she's lost Marvin. And then she just kind of went off on Marvin. And like, I understand it was out of frustration. I'm not giving Rock a pass because she was out of order with this. But I can understand where she was coming from. Day late dog. She did remind me of her mother. Somebody said that in the comments earlier that Rock talks to Marvin like how the mama talks to him too. She did. She sounded like Joyce. Day late, dollar short Marvin, or Marvin sorry, always sorry. Yep. That's what that was.
I guess I'm the only one that felt it was deserving because
it was deserving.
It was deserving because
sure,
if he wouldn't have did none of this stuff, like his decisions, like they would have been cool this season. As soon as he started pulling them side jobs, like he did the side job, so that already started. We can already tell where Stefano was gonna go with that. And he did the whole little joint where he went to take out Mars' husband that she probably still don't know about. He went and then took out Amber False appearance that she still don't know about. Then now, because he did all of that stupidness, when she told him straight up to take out Tyler and the cousin, he didn't do it. Now we got all this work and have nowhere to move it. Like I agree with everything that Rock said. It was like, yo, this is all your fault because you just had to go do side deals with this man. And the reason why you didn't tell me you were doing side deals with this man is because your pockets will get in line with that extra money coming in.
Mm-hmm.
I agree with that. But the fact of the matter is Marvin has never disrespected Rock. He has never shown her any type of disrespect. He showed her the utmost loyalty, and he's always been there and had her back. The fact that verbally, she did it in such a disrespectful way, verbally he has, right? The fact that she did that in a disrespectful way, but what I liked about it is Marvin gave it right back to her. He told her about herself too. Not many people tell Rock about her shortcomings as well. Rock, you have shortcomings too.
Scrappy.
And Marvin reminded her that, like, you a fuck up too. You're not perfect either. So I feel like she needed to hear that because you always coming down on Marvin for his screw ups, but Rock, you've made some mistakes too, i.e., Scrappy.
Mm-hmm. You know, but see, there was logic. There was logic behind Scrappy though, right? There was.
She thought he was snitching. She thought he was snitching.
Yeah, she thought he was snitching. So there's no logic really for Marvin going back to work with the Rigatonis. You know what I'm saying? He was fine. There was no logic for him to move in the way that he was moving. She, like, the decisions that she made was all based off of some type of logic for the benefit of their business, for the benefit of pushing them forward. This was just for to push Marvin forward. So he just won't feel
her like fucking with Unique. Do you think her fucking with Unique was a mistake as well?
Now I do.
Okay, so I feel like Marvin was somewhat justified in his response. I feel like his response wasn't misplaced. Even though everything that we say about Marvin is true, but I feel like his rebuttal to her is equally true.
Oh yeah, now that I agree with 100%. I agree with that. Yeah, his rebuttal was definitely was warranted.
However, sorry, Marvin, get out of my sight, Marvin.
I think the only huge mistake that she actually, I think that was probably one of the biggest unlogical mistakes was messing with Unique. The rest of the stuff was all logical. It's all street strategic.
Get out of my sight.
He's done with street strategic. Like he just vigilante, just out here just working on his own. You know, like I get that's your big sister and everything, but really technically you still work for her.
Or not no more. Because he was like, man, fuck what you talking about. And
it's not a partnership.
He basically told Rock, fuck what you talking about and fuck you. And that's when she was like, Marvin, sorry Marvin, get out of my sight. Because you're always a day late and $1 short. And I'm like, damn, Rock, you alienating your only help that you got right now because you got Lou back. I feel like this would have been a different conversation between the two of them if she didn't have Lou back in the fold. Because you just got Lou back. You ain't got no help. You ain't got no workers as it is. And you alienating one of your best workers right now, even though he is a fuck up. You alienate one of your best workers.
I think she was just hot. about
She
the
was. She was frustrated. She was
yeah,
frustrated.
like,
Frustrated.
saying? We got work. Now that we about to get ready to go back on top once again.
We ain't got no. We ain't got no. Well, also, what I think she's afraid of here too is she's now lost her support. Remember, she's always hid behind the fact that she got Stefano backing her. Now, when she realizes that she don't even have the Italians backing her no more, she's even more weaker. So I think that was anger. That conversation was had out of anger towards Marvin. Jukebox and Aisha have an intimate moment, and they continue conversations about life and times of being in New York. And Aisha invites well, she first of all tells Jukebox how much she enjoyed the intimacy versus the first time. They talk about her little boyfriend back at Spelman and whatever. And she was like, well, why don't you just come to Spelman with me? You got the grades and everything for it. You'll do good in Spelman. And Jukebox like, yeah, that sounds good or whatever, but I'm tired of chasing dreams at this point. And she was like, my father, he changed for me and I need to be there for him. And that there's nobody going to look after him but me. And I'm like, this is not how they talked about Marvin and Juke's relationship in OG Power. But we'll get to that later. But in this case, she says that she loves her father and she acknowledges how he's changed for her. And she wants to remain in New York to protect and be there for her father. That right there was a little foreboding and foreshadowing because I felt like, oh shit, Marvin is finna leave this episode because Juke is saying all these nice things about her father. Something finna happen to Marvin.
Yep.
Was I the only one that felt that?
No, I for sure thought. I was like, yep. I was like, it's on the wall. It was this scene, and when we get to that scene, I was like, yeah. I was like, well, I was like, Retro right. He been saying all season, Marvin gone, and sure enough, that's exactly what I thought was happening. But I also felt like that scene right there, they could have scrapped that. All that stuff they talked about, we could have got that when they was in the diner. We could have got that whole conversation when they were in the diner.
Yep.
Like that whole scene right there to me was pointless for a finale. Like y'all, they could have revealed that in the diner. That's why she was gonna stay in New York.
This scene right here, kind of pointless. We needed it, but I wish they would have gave it to us a different way. The fact that they chose to reveal Breeze on a busy New York corner with all these people around, it just didn't fit with the scene. I guess that's what made the whole reveal for Breeze so underwhelming. There should have been Breeze should have been at the restaurant. They should have had this at the restaurant scene. The fact that they're standing out on a busy corner waiting for Breeze to show up and they're having this conversation out here in public, it didn't fit the narrative. They could have done this a little bit better.
I get what you're saying before we go forward. How I thought the same thing, but then at the same time, I thought about how it was back then. And that street right there was known for like the hustlers and everything to be on.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you saw all the different dope boys and all the different, like the people that was behind Snaps and Pops, how they was all dressed. Cause that was like, if y'all ever watched Paid in Full, think about the scene, all the cars coming down it. Like that whole avenue. It
was kind of like the strip, kind of,
where the strip or the hustlers. But however, I do agree with Retro. Like he should have came up in the restaurant, and then also we should have got this for the ending. In my opinion,
this is how the episode should have ended.
This is how it should have ended.
The Rock scene should have been before this. Him leave, and then this been the ending episode. Mm-hmm. But I guess we've waited 11 years. We have waited since episode 1 of OG Power. Episode 1 of OG Power is where they first mentioned the Breeze character. Mm-hmm. Working the corners for Kanan and Breeze in episode 1 when Tommy and Ghost were standing out in front of Truth. The fact that they made us wait 11 plus years for this moment, and the fact that they would tie this character to Snap and Pops made it underwhelming for me. If he would not have been related to Snap and Pop, I would have been a little bit more excited about it. By the fact that he's related to them, I instantly don't have an interest in the character now. The reason being is because Snap and Pop are now our op. They are now our op. So now we've got to be invested in a character that we know ultimately don't mean Kanan no good. We know that by Breeze being related to Snap and Pop, that's not going to be good for Kanan. We automatically know that now because of his association with them. The fact that they tied his character to them, you have now tied that baggage with Snap and Pop to this character. And so now I'm no longer interested in the Breeze character now because he up. So the fact that Ghost put him down and everything, I'm cheering him on because he's related to the op. So I feel like if they wanted us to get more enjoyment, more excitement out of the Breeze character, you should not have tied him to Snap and Pop because you tied him to our enemy.
I agree with that. Didn't Kanan also help Ghost put down Breeze and the OG? I could have swore
Ghost was the one that put Breeze down.
Yeah, but I thought Kanan was on the help.
Per Kanan's perspective.
Okay. I thought at some point Kanan, and I'll have to go back and watch. I thought when he was telling the story it was like because Breeze kept doing the same routine over and over and over again, and that's how they knew how to hit him.
And Ghost was trying to change up stuff anyway. He said he didn't want to put him down, but he was in the way of his future.
Yeah.
I agree with that, Dexter. It should have been a post-credit scene. I agree with that.
I'm not mad at he's tied.
Like how they did with Tariq in the End of Ghost, with him calling up what we assumed to be Tommy. This should have been a post-credit scene. I agree.
I ain't really mad that he tied in with Snaps and Pops because to me, when you're a hustler, that don't really mean nothing. Because if Tariq would take out his own father, and if he will up the post on his own mom, who would say that Breeze won't do that with them? Like, there's no love in this game. It's only about the money. So for him being his ops or for them to be working or be relatives with them, to me, that means absolutely nothing. Relatives in power get you nothing.
Yeah, but it also makes the point that it's going to be harder to take out Snaps and Pop when Kanan realizes that they're the ones that are behind all the manipulation and the hits and all the accusations against Rock. Now that he's working with Breeze, that's going to create conflict for Kanan to be able to put Snap and Pop down himself. So that tells me right there that Snap and Pop are going to be around next season because it's going to be hard for Kanan to put Snap and Pop down. They're going to have to find a behind-the-scenes way to get rid of Snap and Pop now because their wagon is now attached to Kanan's work. And if Kanan's going to be getting work from them now, and then they gave us a clue here in this scene right here with Snap mentioned that Unique was a temporary resource. You saw Kanan kind of look at that, but again, didn't process it, that he's being used.
Yeah, no,
I wish that the character, they could have still known him. They could have still known Breeze and made the introduction. I just don't like the idea that he was related to them. They could have done the same thing, just not have the character related to Snap and Pop, because I feel like with that, it's going to be, I'm no longer interested in Breeze. And I waited 11 years to meet a character that I'm no longer interested in.
But I thought it was Pop. I thought she was the one that said something about the Italian. She was like, "We got the Italian connect," and then that's when Kanan made that look like, "Wait a minute." Yeah, I thought she was the one who said that, and that's when he looked like, "Wait a minute, that's not what you said in the restaurant." Like he gave her a little look like, "Wait a minute,"
because she said Unique is working with the Italians for the connect, but then beforehand she said, "Yeah, we got transportation, we have the connect." And this
our own work. They said they had their own work.
Going through Unique in order to be the connect.
And then also, I thought the light bulb was going to pop off in his head when he first came up to them and asked about Crystal. And what they do again, they push it off. Man, we ain't got to worry about that now. We got other pressing business. And I thought then he gonna be like, "Yo, why y'all keep pushing off what I'm trying to find out what happened about Crystal?" And I thought maybe the writers would put that in there, just maybe like a little like wait a minute, why y'all doing this? And then we could have got like, hey, this is why, like this is what's going on. But you can tell right there when she made that statement, he made that little side face like, wait a minute, hold up, something ain't right. Yeah. And I feel like I wish the writers maybe would have touched on that, but I guess it was more so because they didn't touch on it because we're getting introduction to the Breeze character, so that's why Kanan didn't say nothing about what was.
I do like this idea, Kiwan. What if Breeze helps put Snap and Pop down eventually? I mean, it wouldn't be, in the world of the Power universe, there's a lot of twists and turns, and friends turn to enemies real easily. So
Yeah, that's why I wasn't really
that
worried about
could end up happening. Now, if that happens, I really like that storyline. I would
that.
really like that storyline.
That's why I
So
said I wasn't really worried about the family aspect, because in Power, what does that mean? That don't mean nothing. Kanan and is he took out Juke and OG Power. We just say fathers get taken out. To me the family
save that
aspect.
for the end. Save that for the end because I got so much to say about that. That I agree with you on that. I'm aggravated with that.
I got some things for the end.
I got some things for that. What do y'all think about the character and the casting? We've been talking about this character. We haven't been talking about it in our theories and on our lives, but just offline, we've been talking about in general who we would have liked to see play Breeze. What do you think about the casting for?
Perfect to me. I mean,
Okay.
if I probably would have never known, the rumors that we got way before the season started, who was going to play Breeze, then it might have been different. But since I already knew it was going to be him, I mean, it's the perfect cast because we saw how he played. For the people who have watched it, he played Raekwon in the Wu-Tang series. So I was like, oh yeah, he perfect to play.
He did a good job there.
Yeah, he did a good job playing Raekwon. So I'm like, he could definitely pull off the Breeze character. But at the same time, still gotta, before I can make that final decision, like, oh, he's perfect. Like, we got to see how these episodes going to be in his acting as Breeze.
It won't take long for the Breeze character to grow on me right now because he's in the presence of Snap and Pop. That just, I hate Snap and Pop right now. So any scene that they're in right now, I'm just not looking at them with, I'm looking at them with the side eye because they are op right now. Mm-hmm. So I can't take anything that associated with them serious right now because I feel like anything that's connected to them is bad for a family right now. And I think ultimately Kanan's relationship with Breeze is going to end up in something else bad happening to him because he's connected to Snap and Pop. I could be wrong, but we'll see where we go with that.
I mean, in other reviews I've seen where they kind of didn't really agree with the casting of who was going to play Breeze, but I'm like, he did really good with Raekwon. I don't know what people expect. Did they expect Stanfield to pop up? I don't know. Like I
think we wanted a bigger name to be attached to the character because the character itself, it's just like we wouldn't have been satisfied with anyone else playing Ghost but Amari Hardrick. Because we put so much hype on the character over the years, that casting needed to match that hype. You needed to put that person needed to have a little star power behind them. That character needed to have a little star power behind them. I'm comfortable with the casting itself, but because there's so much hype around the Breeze character in the Power universe, it would have been a greater introduction if it would have had just a little bit more oomph behind it. Who
would you like to see?
If me, I'm hollering Mac Wiles.
Yeah, you've been saying that for a minute.
I've been saying that from day one. I wanted it to be Mac Wiles, only because in the Power universe we have gotten other characters. Snap from The Wire played Bunk in The Wire. So I've always liked when we've had characters from other shows like that we've loved in that show, like The Wire. We loved all the characters and the actors and the actresses that played in The Wire and the characters that they played there. When we see them cross over into the Power universe, just like old boy that played Joe Proctor's cousin, he was from The Wire.
Mm-hmm.
When we see other characters like that come over into the Power universe, we usually get hyped by it automatically because
he's from The Wire.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. But I've always chosen Mac Wiles. I like that character, so I've always wanted to see more of him in those type of roles because since he played Mike in The Wire, we haven't really seen him play roles like that anymore. So I would have liked to have seen what he would have done with the Breeze character. Who would you have liked to see?
I'm okay with this, to be honest. I ain't really put too much thought on it. When I first saw him, I was just like, oh, it's Raekwon. I'm cool with that. He did, by him playing Raekwon, which is based off in New York anyway. So he already kind of
cool with him. I'm cool with him playing the Breeze character. I wish they would have had a little bit more oomph behind.
Yeah, I was cool with it. I think I was cool with how I'm cool with all the characters that's in power now. Like we had a star-studded power, so I'm not mad at this at all. Power 2, book 2 was star-studded, so I'm kind of I'm okay with this.
You know what, Miss Honey, that's not bad. If they would have introduced their character Breeze as a little bit older and
That's
wiser,
what
I
I
would
would
have
like
liked
to
that
see.
too. I would have
Yeah,
liked, yeah, that would have been cool.
yeah.
Okay, Jim said they're cool with Shamik. All right. Weebay would be good in this show too. Weebay, okay, pretty girl loves trap. Let me find
Love
out.
eBay.
Yeah, that's why she's a pretty girl that loves trap content. Okay, yeah, Weebay would have really been good
eBay was my guy.
in Power. Yeah, yep. He could have been in earlier seasons. I would have liked to have seen him in earlier seasons, and I think he would have been
He
perfect
was a
for
good
Raising
OG.
Canaan. He would have been perfect for Raising Canaan.
Yeah,
And
he
you
was
know who else would have been good in Raising Canaan? The dude that they had play the dude that was fucking with Tariq and Brayton at the Fight Club. I would have liked to see that character in Raising Canaan versus Ghost. He seemed to be more fitted for that show. All right, so y'all, we got the final big reveal. Where Jay at? Jay, Fresh owe us $20. I get our money for us. Don't worry about it. Fresh owe us $20. We said last week this was going to be the introduction of Breeze, and we finally meet the character. Snap and Pop says that they weren't trying to arrange a marriage here. They just wanted to do a brief introduction. So we know that Kanan's going to move forward with Brantford. But the streets know me as Breeze. So we finally get an introduction to our long-awaited Breeze character. He has entered the Power Universe. This scene right here gave me something too, because even though Marvin and Rock don't had a bad argument, he still stayed loyal to his sister.
This what made me
Okay.
further think that Rock with that Marvel was gone there. This conversation just made me think he was out of here.
Yeah, the actor that plays Weebay is too old to play Breeze right now. So
Yeah,
Marvin comes in, he tells Juke that you came in late last night, you had some company. He's like, but I'm cool with that. This is your home too, or whatever. And she was like, yeah, it was Aisha from Butter. Marvin's like, I didn't know she swing that way. And she's like, yeah, she tried some things out. And he's like, trying some things is good. Juke reveals to him that she met with Art Rock and that they had a discussion about the whole Crystal and Famous thing, and it got heated and it didn't go well. Marvin's like, yeah, nah, she didn't do that. He was like, if she would have done that, I would have known. And I think that kind of reset Jukebox's thinking towards Rock, because prior to that conversation with Marvin, she probably was on some, yeah, Rock did it too. What did y'all think about this thing?
Yeah, that's the exact same thing. I thought two things. One, I was like, yeah, Marvin about to get taken out this in this episode, because I was like, here we are having another heart to heart, because I was like, we just got the conversation. She told Aisha she's staying for Marvin, and now we getting this one-on-one from them. So I was like, yeah, it's a wrap. She's gone. And then two, just like you said, when he brought up the whole conversation about what up Crystal, was like, yeah, I would have known. That's when I was like, okay, yeah, now she knows, like, oh, she made that face like, oh, it's not, you know what I'm saying? It's not him. I mean, it's not Rock. Rock didn't take Rock.
I am just so glad that we finally can get to the point, going back to the whole Breeze thing, since some of the comments are still going on about Breeze. I'm just so glad at this point that we finally got our answer, because there have been so many theories over the years. Who's Breeze? It's Ronnie. It's Unique. It's this person. It's that person.
Oh man,
I'm so glad
it's
that is yes. I
one
am
of the
so
rappers.
glad
It's
that-
Be Real.
Yeah, it was Be Real.
It's Imani. Imani is Breeze.
Oh my God. Hated Breeze.
Right?
I'm so glad that we finally got introduced to the character, and he was not none of these people that these crazy ass theories have said they were. But Fresh, your point about Marvin and Juke's conversation, I agree with you on that. I agree wholeheartedly. And I think that once Marvin confirmed that, listen, I know my sister, and I would have known if she had anything to do with that. That's not her way. That's not her style, or whatever. Reset Juke's thinking towards Art Rock, but it's a little too late right now because the damage is done. All right, Russo has bet with Unique, and he pretty much told Unique, like we always hear in the Power universe, you took a shot at the devil and you missed. So he's pretty much telling Unique, look, go do that work. Go do whatever you have to do. I don't care. Make it real smoky out here right now. And Unique kind of looked at him like, and I think at that point, Unique probably is being realized at this moment, a little too late though, but realized at this moment that he's probably being used too by Sal. So at that point, Unique is like, he got his marching orders. He's ready to go out here and make things smoky out here in the streets of Queens. But he didn't tell him, which I'm very surprised he didn't tell him, that he attempted to put Stefano down and was unsuccessful. He alluded to it, but he didn't tell him what happened. Any thoughts, comments on this thing?
I agree. I think that, but again, this is like one of those situations where Unique is just kind of like so hard pressed for Rock too that it didn't even matter. He would been wanting to make noise, and now he just got the opportunity and the go ahead to make noise. He ain't sit and think back, as he ain't sit and take a step back to think about why he's giving the green light right now. But he's on the same mission that Kanan is on.
Yeah, I agree with that. And I also agree with you, Kiwan. Unique was a little sloppy this season, but he really didn't care because he was so bent on revenge. Anything that got him to that pathway to revenge, he was with it.
Yeah, that's all he wanted. He didn't really care that he was being used or anything like that. And he didn't even take a seat back after having a conversation with Sal's wife of why they're sitting on their hands when Sal was just the head of y'all family. I get that you don't want to go to war in New York, but if it's true that that Stefano has something to do with it, and if you bring that to the other families, then that's a conversation that you're supposed to have with the other families, and they could possibly give you the green light to take care of that. But instead, you wanted to sit on your hands with it. It's just a lot of things they just overlooked just because they only saw Rock.
So that's a good point. So in this scene right here, you got Lou meet with Rock. Rock is pretty much found. She got the word that there was an attempt on Stefano's life, and that it wasn't successful. They don't know whether or not Stefano is going to make it or not. And she's pretty much telling Lou that they need to hit first and hit hard at Unique and go see what Perness and them talking about.
Mm-hmm.
Lou didn't really give her no updates, which that's cool because he had already done his recon, so he's already found out what Perness is at. So I think this right here was basically her telling him, go back and finish what you started. All right, no comments for this scene right here. All right, this scene right here, we got Kanan pulling back up to the crib, and none other than Detective Garcia rolls up on him and say, Kanan Stark, Detective Garcia with the NYPD Police Department. I need to talk to you about a homicide investigation I'm a part of. Yeah, and it's left to assume that Garcia told Kanan the same thing he told Jukebox about the black lady coming out of the apartment complex. Does this charge up Kanan's battery even more?
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. It was already charged, but now
only thing in this scene, I just wish we would have got a little bit more conversation, because I'm trying to figure out, one, how Garcia even knew where Kanan lived, number one. Number two, how he put two and two together that, him and Crystal was even involved with each other. Like, because we never...
Yeah, that's a good one, Fresh.
Because when he said that, like when he was talking about, I was like, yo, how he even know? Because we never even saw interaction with Garcia and Kanan about Crystal. Last time we saw interaction with Kanan and Garcia was about fame. Now all of a sudden it's about
Hey yo, Dale got me laughing.
That a black woman was saying.
Yeah, Dale said Dummy A telling Dummy B a black woman was C. Exactly. What do we have here, y'all? Nothing. You right, Fresh.
Yeah, I thought we was gonna get a little bit more elaborate or a little bit more.
How she was put down. You know what? If Garcia had done his investigation and we actually could have got something from this scene. This scene actually could have served another purpose, because it should have served informing Kanan that maybe my mom didn't do it. He should have said we had witnesses say that she was taken off of a bus by two dirty cops, or and that she was found in a bando, or if he would have given more of the investigation that could have pointed Kanan in a different direction besides his mom, I would have took value in the scene. But going here and telling him the same thing he told Juke, like all we did was repeat that same scene with him and Juke.
Yep, that's what I said. That's what I said earlier. The episode started to become predictable.
Yeah,
as soon as he pulled up on him, I already knew what was going to happen.
Yeah, as soon as he got out the car, we knew exactly what this was going to result in: charging up Kanan's battery.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody told me earlier that this was just to give us conclusion that the little girl's with a better family right now, but I didn't care.
We didn't need this.
We didn't need this. For
We did
what?
not need this.
And the only question I had about this whole scene was how the hell did Marvin know where she was at?
I said that too. Remember we were talking about that offline. Somebody said, remember we were talking about that with Rio on his whatchamacallit. Yeah. And we were like, basically, I guess he went back to the same social worker and got the information about where she was at. I don't know, but we didn't care. We don't care about this little girl.
No,
she ain't fam. I mean,
this was also another scene that made me think that
Marvin was out of here. Yep.
That was the only thing it gave me. It was no
loose ends. It was like Marvin was tying up all his loose ends. He wanted to make sure that little girl was straight. And I was like, oh man, this is Marvin's goodbye.
Yep.
When he waved at her, I was like, yep, that's his goodbye for real.
Yep.
Pernessa pull up to the crib of what I heard Jerome. This is the first time we've seen that little boy in forever. And B Rilla, shout out to B Rilla. We all said it. We all knew it that B Rilla was going to become Lou's sidekick. So Lou and B Rilla pull up in a Toyota Corolla. They snatch up Pernessa and Jerome, and they've been taken.
Yep.
What do you think is going to happen
with them?
Do you think that Lou's going to put them down, or they're going to hold them hostage, put them down in front of Unique? What do you think is going to ultimately end up happening with Pernessa?
I'll tell that at the end.
Okay. All right.
For me, it ties in the rock.
Okay. So they snatch up Pernessa and Jerome, and they ride off into the night. Luke was on some, rockabye baby type ish. Get your ass in this car.
Yeah, like don't even reach for
it. Bruh, I ain't even gonna lie. It scared me for a second. I was like, damn, don't kill the little dude, man. Don't put him down.
Yeah, don't kill the little dude. Leave him alone. He ain't doing nothing. So I'm sure Unique's gonna find a bag of food by Pernessa's car and realize that she's been taken. Plot device left behind for someone to discover that Pernessa's been
always carrying groceries.
Yeah, I told you, always got food and groceries.
Always carrying groceries. Like, damn, lady, how much y'all eat?
I never repeat that. She is always got groceries or something.
You know, we say that every time we see Pernessa, she always got a grocery bag or some food or something. Yeah.
Like, damn, you need
a lot over at Pernessa's house.
The same way with Ronnie last season when she was coming in. Yeah, sure enough.
Groceries.
Remember, he took the cereal from her.
Groceries.
Yep. Took the Cheerios from her.
Yeah, he took the Cheerios from her. She was putting groceries away. Oh, Pernessa's the grocery lady. Bag lady Pernessa. All right. So Unique over there at the tailor shop, strapping up, whatever. I've waited for this moment all my life. This is the only thing that kept me alive. I'm going to put Rock down tonight. I'm like, man, this is a repeat of season 1. Even with them throwing the bottles they did the same thing at Lou's house. This is just a repeat. We didn't need this.
Nope.
I don't care. And the fact that he's still rolling with Notorious P.I.G., like, dude ain't really he ain't really your right hand. He's a paid for right hand. That means for the right price, he can flip on you. I wouldn't be putting a lot of faith in him. I would have got rid of him by now. He would have to get up away from around me because I don't trust him. All right, so we finally see that infamous scene from the trailer that we've seen since day 1. They burning down the Golden Pavilion. They burn down Stefano's fish shop and all the rest of the restaurants. The crazy part about it is, damn, we got boiled fish for dinner. When Where's Marvin at?
At the
We
gas
didn't roll
station.
up on Marvin at a gas station. That's what I thought.
Yeah, at the
That's
gas
what I
station.
thought. I thought it was early Tyler's spot, but I was wrong about that. But they still rolled up on Marvin, and the fact that they chose to put Marvin down is a lot too. Says a lot too, because we didn't see them roll up on anyone else from Rock's camp but Marvin. So they're trying to put a muscle down, basically weaken her. Right.
Well, I didn't take it as they were trying to put the muscle down. I took it as they was going to take all of them down. The only reason we didn't see, yeah, that's what I looked at it as. Like, because he said when Russo gave Unique the green light, when he gave him that green light, when he gave him the green light, I was like, that's why he was like, I'm out there. Because remember when Rock made that threat at the beginning of the family, that's when he like, all right, everybody about to go down. So I felt like the only reason they didn't catch Lou was because he was snatching up Pernessa. And of course, Rock was at the crib. So the only thing that lost me on this is that I wish they would have shown like possibly Marvin being followed. Because just him pulling up into a gas station, they just rolling up, like y'all just happened to find him at a gas station and y'all roll up.
Yeah, well, y'all were following him. Like, yeah, y'all just happened to roll up on him at a gas station. Marvin probably was going to get him a bag of chips. Marvin probably was going to get him a bag of chips.
Yeah, like they got chopped. He didn't get hit. Dude right there got hit. And like that's the only thing I wish the writers would have showed was like how did they even know he was there? Or
and
maybe
that's a good
go ahead. What about you?
Well, not only that, but they could have given us more with this scene and less with some of the others. Just like all the things that we've identified that was a waste. What they should have shown us after this was Marvin's next move. Like, what did Marvin do after this? Did he just go home and lay down? Did he call Rock and warn Rock and say, Rock, they just tried to roll up on me? Did you try to warn Lou? Like, what did Marvin do after this? Maybe they'll show us this episode 1, season 5, but I feel like you could have given us a little bit more of this by showing what Marvin's next move was. So we'll move on because I have an idea of what I think Marvin's next move was.
Just to double real quick, Retro. I'm wondering though if he thought, because I don't think that Marv knew about the joint, like going to war with Unique. I wondered if he thought that was from Stefano and them.
Could be.
Is what I wondered.
We said that in our predictions. We felt like, what's up, Planet Paperboy? We said that in our predictions that we felt like that was retaliation for the whole Stefano thing, whatever. But we learned now that it's Unique just trying to put down all of Rock's business. This scene right here, Jukebox is now back to where she's always been with this, and she's trying to tell Kanan he reason. Like, think about it. Why would your mom put down Crystal? Why would your mom put down Fame or whatever? She's trying to get Kanan to think different. And he ain't hearing none of that. He ain't hearing none of that. And he up his pole on Juke.
If you not with me, you against me. You rolling with my mother? You against me too, then, Juke. I'm about to go and take care of something that I been should have took care of. That's what I'm gonna
stupid
do.
Fool. Yo, I'm talking about how he up his pole on Juke. He low key did it.
He did it. He did.
Oh, sure.
He low key did it, but he did it.
Oh, for sure.
He upped his pole on Juke.
And she looked at him like,
now, I got a problem with that. Kanan.
Oh,
now, you don't up the pole on family.
I bet. Oh, yeah. He crashed out completely.
Yeah, he crashed out completely on that. She looked at him like she kind of crazy. You saw she looked at him, she's like, nigga, you
like, yeah, really? Bet.
But this is where I thought he was going to get the infamous scarf at. I thought they were going to have a little tussle or something. Or she would have pulled her strap out and smacked him across the face with it or something.
She going to spin the block on that.
Yeah, I felt like she's going to spin the block on that too. I don't think she's going to let that slide.
Yeah, she ain't going to slide.
In this scene, we were going to get where she tells him, like, yo, I spoke to my father. I spoke to Marvin, and Marvin assured me, like, she had nothing to do with Crystal. Is what I thought that she would end up coming out and saying, like, yo, if anybody, like, Marvin's not going to lie to me about that. Like, You know what I'm saying? So I thought that's what it was. I agree with that, Miss Honey.
Me too.
Like that was definitely, but they switched it up.
Yeah, that should have been Marvin's unaliving. That right there. Who did she run and call? Well, you know, we've been going back and forth with this. I want to hear the chat's thoughts too. Who did Jukebox call? Our options are
Garcia or
Rock, Marvin, or Detective Garcia.
I have a feeling it's between Marv. I think it. You know what? I thought about it being Detective Garcia, but then at the same time, I'm like, nah, because then at that point, you kind of snitching. So I felt like it was Marvin.
Okay, Planet Paperboy says she called Marvin.
Yeah,
who else do we have?
I called Marvin.
Yeah.
Why not Rock? Okay, Xavier says she called Marvin.
I don't think she called Rock because only reason I don't think she called Rock because if she had called Rock, Rock would have already been anticipating Kanan showing up.
Mm-hmm.
So unless we couldn't get through, unless we see that in the first episode,
because Rock was on the phone, unless she couldn't get through because Rock was on the phone.
Busy, but I think she called Marvin. That's the only person I could think of. Because I thought about the Detective Garcia thing, but I was like, nah, because then
I don't feel like she called Marvin is you've never seen Marvin with a cell phone.
I think she called Rock.
You never seen Marvin with a cell phone. The only people they've ever shown with a cell phone has been Kanan and Rock. And the fact,
Rock.
And the fact that Marvin is just getting shot at right here. Marvin ain't went back home to the house.
May have paged him, but I think she called Rock.
That's what I was about to say. That's exactly what I was about to say. I don't think she like literally called him for on a cell phone. I think she probably paged him because that's what would have made it. You know what I'm saying? Like you said, he had a pager. I can't see her calling Rock because if she called Rock, Rock would have already anticipated Kanan showing up. Like I said, unless we see in episode 1 of season 5 that the line was busy.
That's what I think is going to happen. The line
because Rock was on the phone. That's why I felt like she called Rock. And then they showed us the next scene. They showed Rock was on the phone talking to someone.
Mm-hmm.
Then she called Rock, but Rock didn't answer because the line was busy.
Yeah, did they have call waiting in the 90s?
I don't know if they had call waiting or not.
They did, but I don't think it was on cell phones back then.
Lovely Blueprint says Marvin. How about she called Symphony? You go ahead, Xavier. Okay, Miss Honey says she called Marvin. Miss Honey, me and you are on the same page. That was who I thought took the bullet because the fellas been pressing me down, arguing me down, shot me down all weekend, saying that my baby mama Rock is still here with us. And I said the only way that she gonna still be here with us is if Marvin took the bullet for her.
I got my reasons why she's still alive, but we'll get to that. That's who I exactly.
She was on the phone with Lou. See, okay, we gonna hurry up and get to that scene then. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah, Rock is on the phone. The reason why I don't feel like she's talking to Lou is same thing I said in the chat when we were talking about this Thursday night, Friday night. I feel like she was on the phone with Stefano. I know I'm getting my head blowed off on me, but I'm gonna tell y'all why.
I think your theory makes sense though, bro. Why you think it was Stefano? Because like you said, until you pointed out the fish thing, I didn't even pay attention to that.
Yeah, because unless it was Lou calling back to tell her, you know how Lou used to always do that back in the day when she would send him out on his batter up missions, he would always call back and give her confirmation. So unless this was Lou calling her back to give her confirmation, but the fact that she said he's going to be in for a more bigger problem than some boiling fish, that was out of all the stuff that happened, all the things that they burned down, why did she go back to the fish shop being burned down and not none of the restaurants? So I felt like she was on the phone with Stefano, telling Stefano what had happened.
Nah, Jims, they know he alive. Because
if it was Lou, she would have said, I got to call you back. Kanan just showed up.
I didn't even peep that. You right about that.
If it was Marvin, she would have called back. I gotta go. Kanan just showed up. But the fact that she said, I'll call you back, it made it seem like she was talking to someone else outside of someone in the family. And the fact that she alluded to the boiling fish, meaning that the fish shop got set on fire. And they made a point to show us that the fish shop was the last place that they set on fire. I felt like she was talking to Stefano.
Yep.
Because she'd be talking to the Connect.
I thought about that, but I would think the Connect wouldn't know where they moving the product out of.
I feel like this is her and Stefano resetting their thing. Stefano has probably reached back out to Rock to let Rock remind you she's on her cell phone, not the house phone either. That's telling. Because whoever she's talking to is accustomed to calling her on her cell phone, not the home phone. It's on her cell phone, and I feel like this is Stefano reaching back out to her to mend fences because he needs her help to put Unique down and Russo. So her comment was, well, he got something else bigger to worry about than a few boiling fish. Why would she say that to Lou when she had already told Lou to go kidnap Pernessa and Jerome? It just didn't make the conversation for her to have it with Lou didn't make sense because she had already gave Lou the marching orders to go kidnap him. And then why would she reference the fish shop to Lou? I feel like the reference to the fish shop was for Stefano.
Yeah. You know what? Now that you said that, because like you said, they made it such an emphasis to show them burning up the fish shop, and then she made that reference. Yeah, I think that's what it is, and I'm thinking Stefano called her to let her know, like, hey,
I'm still here.
So poke me up, and like, yo, probably at this point, he probably telling her like, yo, this is what happened.
I thought he's been recovering from the
you know what I'm saying? All of that stuff. So yeah, I agree with that, Retro.
Do Baby with the 1999 super sticker. We appreciate that. Thank you so much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. All right. So what Planet Paperboy talking about? That can be true, Retro, but I feel that they can switch it up with anyone and leaving it open-ended. They can, much like how they did at the end of Ghost. We don't know who Tariq was talking to. So in these two particular scenes right here, we don't know who Juke was calling, and we don't know who Rock. So that leaves us in suspense to speculate who they could have been on the phone with, if not each other.
Well, then if it wasn't Stefano, or Lou, what are we getting, a new character? Because
I don't understand I don't understand the purpose of the conversation if it wasn't for Stefano. If they show us that it was anyone else besides Stefano that she was talking to, then I'm going to have to say, why? That was useless.
I would just say it wasn't Stefano because it seemed like that he would be recovering from his wounds. Like, I know he ain't dead, but I mean, he's not alive, but he's definitely critical.
Yeah, I mean, he's still critical, but still, it's probably he got enough to the point to give her a warning, like, hey, Russo just hit me. Like, I'm the reason why Russo.
That's why I feel like it was him, because they are now realigning themselves as allies. He need Rock and she need him. They both need each other right now. So I feel like, and the fact that she mentioned him in earlier scene with Lou, I don't know if Stefano's going to make it or not. To me, we know that Tony Danza is casted for season 5. He's already casted for season 5. So I feel like he's reached out to her.
Xavier made a good point. Every woman retro loves. He made a good point.
Every woman retro loves gets unalive. Carrie, Rock, Angela, but Tasha lives. Thank you, Xavier. Yes.
That's a good point.
All of my women in the Power universe always get put down. And they get put down hard. That's why I'm grieving. Let me get my Gucci's back on because I'm grieving, y'all.
That's the whole thing.
Because I don't know about Rock.
Kanan shows
up. Nice lady.
I still don't think she gone, but
I don't think she gone either.
Go ahead first.
Oh, my bad. Yeah, as we can see, Kanan shows up on the scene, and of course, he got to strap out on Rock. I want to say in this scene right here, this is next to Mama Joyce. This is probably the most we've seen Rock so vulnerable, where she showed emotion. Like, I don't think I've ever seen her in any other episode besides the Mama Joyce one, where she showed emotion. And Kanan, big dummy, as Fred G. Sanford would say, he rolls up on her and blames her for everybody unaliving, from OC, the Famous, the Crystal, everything that falls on her.
Howard.
Howard. You all to yourself. Everything you do has something to do with you.
This dude up the pole on his mama. He is stupid.
First thing I
feel like, yes, we are reliving that moment at Truth with Tariq and Ghost. Yes. Same scene. Almost same dialogue.
Yep.
But that is true. Y'all did say that. That Howard did say that Kanan can't shoot. But the only problem I have with this is I have a lot of problems with this because Rock should have used this should have been her moment of truth. She should have told Kanan in this moment why she put down Howard. I know that doesn't really matter at this point right now, but to him, he's part of the list. I put Howard down because Howard, blah, 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 this to me. Howard SA'd me when I was a teenager or whatever the case may be. Your daddy was no good. Your daddy was trying to put your Uncle Marvin in jail. She's never really given him an explanation as to why she wanted to get rid of Howard to begin with. So I feel like she owed him that much because you did put his father down. She should have told him what her reasons were for wanting to put him down. She tells him that she loves him and that she's always loved him and she's always wanted the best for him. And Kanan ain't trying to hear none of that, much like Ghost tried to tell Tariq. This thing was just too cliche.
I think he wasn't gonna hear nothing at this point. I think he already had it in his mind what was what he wanted to do next because he didn't even hear the fact that he's still breathing is because they put down D Wiz. So I definitely don't think he would have heard the Detective Tyler thing. It would have been nice to have that conversation, but he was just so blinded by his hatred that it didn't even matter to him at this point.
Nah, I agree with Retro. If she would have came out and would have went down the line and would have said about Howard, about D Wiz, explained she had nothing to do with Fame, explained she had nothing to do with Crystal. But of course, like, because you got to remember the infamous scene. What was that? Was that last season when she rode up with him? When she rode up to his spot with that Mustang, he gave her a chance again to be truthful, and she lied. So after that, that's why he stopped believing everything that she said. If she would have came out, the writers would have put in like she just come out and she say it again, and she just goes into great detail. I think then it would have made it even more dope because then Kanan could have sat right there and thought for herself, like, you know what? She might be telling the truth, but at the same time, I don't believe her.
So Jay, go ahead. I'm sorry, Fresh.
Oh, no, go ahead, because I was about to respond to that myself.
So Jay, we've been going back and forth about that, and I've sent all of the interviews over this weekend for the fellas, and they've pushed me into a corner all weekend saying that Rock is still here. I don't take those interviews serious. It's just for me to cut up with the fellas about it because they did the same thing with Unique, the very same thing with Unique, the same episode he was unalived in. They did the same thing, put all those interviews out with the character saying goodbye, how much they enjoyed the role and all that. So I don't believe that part of it. The reason why I feel like Rock needs to be gone, much as I don't want her to be gone, is, again, going back to my earlier point, we have too many plot lines that are open still. That if they would have closed out some of these plot lines, then okay, we could spend a little bit more time with Rock. But in order for us to advance, season 5 is the last season. We know that. Sasha Penn has said that the story was set up for only 5 seasons. So to me, in order for us to spend the time that we're going to spend on the Breeze character, we have got to get past Rock. At this point, this show could have been called something else because it's all about Rock and the Thomas family. And we're spending so much time with the Thomas family and Rock that Kanan's been raised at this point. It's time for Rock's character to fade into obscurity because otherwise we're going to end the season with Rock still on our mind. I think they're trying to set us up for us to get Rock off of our mind. I want her to be alive. I don't want her to be gone. I want to be wrong, but I feel like she's gone.
Also, Jay, what is that, Variety that she did the interview or whatever with, they edited their article, and it says Rock might not be alive for season 5.
Yeah, the original title of the article, it said it was more so confirming that she was unalive. And then they did change the title. Yes, they did.
Now it says Rock might not be. So, but I have my reasons and whatchamacallit as to why Rock it will be there for season
That's
5.
true. Dexter's right. I mean, he won't believe anything she say anyway. So
yeah, I don't think he will.
Okay, so Jack, talk about this thing right here because you and Fresh both pretty much had theories on Kanan and the movement with the strap and all that stuff. Tell us a little bit about what you're seeing here.
So my initial thought is like, before it goes off and it goes black, was a couple of things. One, I thought that because Juke grabbed the phone, we see Juke grab the phone previously, that Juke couldn't get in touch with Rock. So Juke came over there. Juke had to get over there before he ended up doing something that he regret. So initially, I thought that once he pulled the strap out, is that the sound that you hear came from somebody else, and it was Juke. Now, mind you, Juke still had the pistol that was given to her by Marvin.
Mhm.
So that's why I thought initially that it was Juke. But then as I watch it over and over and over again, it's kind of the reason to me plays more of a reason why Rock is still here. One, it could have been Juke. Two, it could have been somebody from outside of the house. We don't necessarily know that. We did see her looking out the window. Then we also saw her turn her back towards that window. So it could be somebody that's outside of that house. But I think that bullet that flew out did not, or that bullet that we hear, it wasn't from this gun.
Okay, that's a good point. I agree with you, baby. I'm so sick of this. I guess that's where I'm just apoplectic at this point regarding how they continue to reuse the same source material over and over and over again. I am so tired of the kid killing the parent off. And ultimately, we know how Kanan's story ends on top of that. So the idea that he's responsible for destroying his entire family. In this case, he's attempted to unalive his mom. He unalived his own son. He unalived his sister cousin, Juke. And forced Crystal to have a self-deletion. So I'm like, yo, we're not self-deletion, but a deletion of a child. I'm just like, Kanan's a pretty despicable person for him to say that everything that he loves is taken away from him. You taking away everything you love.
He put himself in a position put them in a position for them.
I'm tired of this storyline too, though. I don't want to see no more versions of Power. It's been in every spinoff. It's been even in Forest with Vic and Walter.
Yep.
It's all over the Power universe. It's unnecessary.
That's one of my reasons why I don't think The Rock is gone. That's one of the main ones right there. Because I like.
All right, what's your theory?
So, for this scene right here, or Rock as a whole?
This scene right here.
This scene, well, so when I first saw it, and then it fades to black, I was like, my theory is that she's not gone because, like Unique said, if we don't see that body, then then it's not gone. But my theory to this was to jump back from what Jack was saying was, I'm thinking if it's not Juke, somebody shows up in time. I actually have three theories on this one. Somebody shows up and ends up I'm not even going to say necessarily shooting Kanan, but just like fires off a shot to like scare him or whatever. My second theory was that the shot that we heard, he took the shot, but he couldn't bring himself enough to put her down. Like he shot at her, but he just couldn't do it. And then it's off like, you know what? This is it. Like, I can't do it. You on your own now. If anybody else, I'm not stopping nobody else to try to unalive you. The third one that I thought was, like you said, was that when we saw Rock, she was looking out the window. She has her back turned. That one, that right there, that shot that I'm thinking, especially since it fades into black, I'm thinking the first episode of season 5 is that shot came from the outside. And it was a shot from, because remember, they had just hit Marvin. So Unique is already out. I feel like that's Unique and Akbar coming to shoot up her crib. And that shot that we hear is one of the bullets coming through the crib. And when the bullets hit, Kanan and Rock duck down, and the whole house just ends up getting shot up. And of course, like Kanan, I don't know how he gets out or whatever, whatnot. I don't think that he's tries to save her. I think like the whole house just gets shot up and he just runs off, and that's the shot that we hear is them when Unique and Akbar and them is coming to shoot up her crib. So that first shot that we hear is like the first bullet that comes through the window, and then like right after that, we're gonna hear the choppers and everything else just start going off like that.
Okay, very good. I do love your theory number two. Number two is one of my theories as well. I do feel like, well, first of all, my first theory is that Kanan does successfully land his shot on his mother. It doesn't delete her though. Number two, I do feel like number two could be your theory right there, that he does shoot her, but he misses. And at that point, because you do sense hesitation in him when he get ready to go fire off that shot, you sense the hesitation. So it could be that he missed, and he tell her like, "Listen, I can't do it, or whatever. But you on your own. If anyone else tries to take you out, then you on your own." The last theory is a good one too, that the shot could have came from the outside. But my theory number three is Marvin jumps in front of the bullet and takes the bullet for Rock.
You know what? And now that you just said that, that could possibly make sense why we saw Juke crying in the season 5 trailer. Because I saw some people say that's Kanan that's holding Juke, but I can't see Kanan.
It could be either Kanan or Marvin. It could be Marvin and Kanan upset over Rock being unalive, or it could be, it could be Juke and Kanan upset over Marvin being unalive, or it could be Juke and Marvin upset about Rock being unalive. It's hard to tell because Marvin and Kanan have the same hairstyle. So it's hard to pinpoint who she's hugging in that scene in the car. It looks to me like it would be that she was in the car with Kanan, or she could be in the passenger seat with Marvin. So that's a hard one to tell. I feel like if we're going to get rid of Marvin's character, because going back to this episode right here, it sounded like it was loose ends tied up for Marvin, him saying his goodbyes or whatever. So if Juke, we are saying that Juke called Marvin. So if Juke was successful in getting in touch with Marvin and telling Marvin what Kanan was getting ready to do, could this be Marvin showed up and took the bullet for his sister?
It could be, but I'm like what Planet Paperboy is saying. If that's the case, then that can't be Kanan in that car, because I can't see her allowing Kanan to hug her, knowing that Kanan was the one who ended up taking him out. You know what I'm saying? Like you took out my father, so I can't see it be the one. So like I said, I still don't think Rock is alive. I think that we see that, but I'm thinking like maybe he gets taken out like later on, or maybe, hey, a lot of people thought that was Marvin putting down Famous from the trailer. We found out that wasn't Famous, so it might not be Marvin or Kanan in that trailer.
Lady V, we have the trailer. We did. Let me see if I can find it.
Yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. The fact that they have shown the season 5 trailer already too is something there for us.
So, but as we can see, that Rock she closed her eyes and was saying her prayer.
To make peace with it, yeah,
she was making peace with it. She closed her eyes and was just ready for whatever that was coming. So this is why I also think, because this is the last shot that we see before it blacks out, is we see her and we see that window. So that's why I feel like
window. That's what. Yeah.
We see that window. So that's why I feel like when we see this part in season 5, episode 1, we're gonna see this, and it's a bullet that's gonna come flying through that window, and it's gonna be whether it's from Unique, Akbar, or whatever. And then that's when we just gonna see the choppers, all these bullets and everything else just come flying through the house as they spraying up the house to try to take her out or whatever. So that's why, to me, it just made because they just made such an emphasis to keep showing that window.
That window, yeah.
Because they showed her when she was on the phone. Mm-hmm. Then when they was going back and forth with their conversation, she was still in front of that window. Like, she ain't never moved to like even possibly like, yo, let me try to get one of my hidden straps. Like, I doubt that she would take out Kanan, but like, she never moved.
Actually, her strap is on the counter. I don't know if you got a screenshot that shows it.
Mm-mm. I don't think I had to go back. I don't think I ever paid attention to it, that it was there.
When I was watching the episode, when Kanan first walks in, when she turns around to greet him, they show her strap sitting on
on the counter.
On the counter, yeah. Where
You know
Kanan is
what?
at.
I'm leaning more towards now so than ever. You know, at first my initial thought was, you know, Drew come in and save. But just looking at how many emphasis they put on that window, that shot came from outside.
Yeah, the shot came from outside. So,
Damn,
like
I
I
thought I
said,
had the trailer.
Retro thinks Rock is gone, but I don't
Like
think Rock is
she
gone.
could have been sitting on the couch. She could have been sitting at the counter, you know, holding that conversation. Why put so much emphasis on the window?
Yeah, because it was like I think at that point that's when she knew like Unique and them was coming.
Mm-hmm.
Like she knew the spots and them got hit, so she like, yo, I know they about to get ready to come. Like, and I thought about that too, Planet Paperboy from the OG Power when he got out and he told them like, yo, I got to go visit my mom's. Now, granted, he could have been lying, and also granted, it could have been her grave site. But at the same time, I'm like, yo, if you took out Rock, if he took out Rock, why would he want to go to her grave site? Like, if he had such all this animosity towards her, like he's the one who put her down, he took her out. Why would, as an adult, he go to her grave site? Like,
And,
you know,
and if he took out Marvin, and if it's Marvin who got hit, he took out Marvin. I mean, of course, they probably didn't know they was gonna get the spinoff, you know. But now, just going back and looking at OG Power and the relationship that Juke and Marvin end up having, you know, after everything that happened, I don't think that. How do they rebuild their relationship to the point where she's his caretaker after the Ghost and Kanan fight?
Well, we know that the relationship between Jukebox and Kanan survives, or it stays. It's around. It has meaning because remember in OG Power, Ghost and Tommy know who Jukebox is,
right?
So she's around, and then at some point, I think there's going to be distance between Kanan and Jukebox.
Yeah.
Let me see something real quick. Let me see something.
I'll tell my reasons why I feel that Rock is alive. For one, now granted, like I said, like Planet Paperboy was saying that it's possible. Oh, you know what? Now that you hold on, before I even get into that, now that you got this up,
this is the scene that we're talking about right here. So we can't confirm who Juke is hugging here. Is it Kanan? Is it Marvin? It could be either one of the two. But going back,
I'm thinking that's his car.
Well, you know, Marvin's car got shot up, so
I mean that's true. I mean, but
he could be in a different whip, is what I'm saying.
Has 20 cars.
Yeah.
Or are they in Kanan's Benz?
I mean, they could be. I just can't see. I can't see Juke
embracing Kanan if Kanan put Marvin down. I get that.
Yeah.
Or even if he put down Rock, I can't see her embracing him.
You know what this is? Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I thought this is. What I thought this was. Okay, I'm gonna tell you what I thought this was. What I thought this was Kanan realizing that he put his mom down for nothing. That's what I thought this was. And he's embracing Jukebox, and they are just like, he fucked up over it. Like, I can't believe I just unalived my mom. And he finds out that Bonnie and Clyde was truly manipulating him. And that's him realizing that, oh shit, I don't put my mom down. Or going back to your theory about the shot coming in from the outside, what if it's the same situation? The shot came in from the outside, but it hit Marvin instead of whatchamacallit. Maybe Marvin is showing up at the moment the shot rings off, and he gets the shot from the outside and not even from Kanan's weapon.
Yeah, you know what? I didn't think about that.
I didn't think about that either.
And now Juke has just Kanan's now having to tell Juke that Marvin gone.
Yeah. I didn't think about that. That's a dope ass theory, Retro.
Yeah, that is.
I didn't even think about that.
That is.
Because that would make the most sense. If that's Kanan right there, that would make the most sense as to why both of them are hugging. That would make the sense, because like I said, even if your first theory, Retro, if he does find out or realizes like he put it down for nothing, I just can't. The look on Juke's face
It's
is
horror. It's
yeah.
terror. Yeah.
So that's what makes me think, like you said, that second one is that Marvin shows up, and during that process, when Unique and all them end up, spraying up the house, he the one who get hit, and Kanan tells him like, "I tried to save him, but I couldn't save him." Like Unique and all them.
There is a scene out there, and I tried to find it, but we'll find it for next week's live. But there is a scene or a picture of Rock coming out of a hotel from season 5. So it could be that Rock is in hiding right now. She had a hotel held up or whatever the case may be or whatever. So there is a possibility that Rock could still be here with us. But I think this scene right here is either confirmation that Marvin is gone or Aunt Rock gone. I think Juke would still have that same reaction even if it was Rock that got put down, because remember, her last interaction with Rock wasn't good either. So, but I agree. I think it's more about Marvin. I think it's the news of whatever happened to Marvin. When Marvin is unalive this season, this is that her reaction to that. Whoever unalives Marvin this season, this is her reaction to that.
Yeah. So to go to my theories as to why I don't think that Rock is gone, it's because, one, we touched on it. I refuse to believe that the writers will regurgitate what we've already seen and force with Vic and his father, and then Tariq and Ghost. I refuse to believe that they're that stupid to rewrite that all over again. Like, I refuse to believe that. Now, I could be wrong, but I refuse to believe that. The second joint is, like Planet Paperboy was saying, is if she's in season 5 and like she's gone, then she's a ghost, because there's a picture out there where they've already finished filming season 5. She's on set the last day and is in a picture with Kanan where they filmed season 5, where it's done. And I'm thinking, like, if her character was unalive, why would she be there the last day of shooting for season 5? If her now, granted, her character could got unalive in that last episode of season 5, but I'm just like, she's there. And then my third one, which makes the most sense to me, is if she's gone, then what's going to be the Thomas storyline for next season? Because if she's gone, we know damn well Marvin and Lou, like, they not going. What they going to do? Go after Kanan?
That's it. That's the point. It's time to bag up the Thomas family. It's time to wrap them up and move.
I mean, I get that, but I'm like, if
I think we have the Thomas family for the first half of season 5. After the second half of season 5, we're done with the Thomas family.
Okay,
we kind of need to move on to the get to the origin story too. So
yeah, because we know that now that they've introduced Breeze, that tells us right now that we need to go ahead and wrap up this story and start introducing the dynamics between Kanan and Breeze. But I'll tell you what, we're past 2 hours into this, so I'll tell you what, let's set up a live next week. Let's set up a live next week just to talk about the overall season and what our thoughts are, and let's get some other folks up here with us. Let's do a panel next week, and let's just talk about our theories of season 4 and season 5, because I'm sure by then we'll got our hands on some more material or whatever. We can come up with some theories or whatever, because I like a lot of what the chat is saying. I like a lot of what you guys are saying, so let's tie that into let's do a live next week around that, and let's see what everyone is thinking. Let's get some other panelists up here with us, and let's talk about what we thought about the season and where we think it's going. All right, guys, you have been great. Man, this has been a roller coaster ride for us, because we really enjoy Raising Kanan. This is our favorite installment of Power since the OG, and man, this season goes by so fast.
Yeah.
So I think that we got BMF up June 6th. So we will be covering BMF. I think it's its last season, and then of course right after that we have our last season of Force, and then we'll roll back into Raising Kanan, and by then Power Origins should be in post-production or pre-production, and we should be ready for our first season of Origins 2027, I'm thinking.
Or the new spinoff, the other spinoff that we're getting.
Okay, Dexter asks us, how do we rank this season? I give it a 8.5. 8. I'll give it an 8.
8.
6.
Okay, so 2 8s and a 6. All right. Oh damn! I didn't even think you were ready. Well, you know what? You kind of be rough on these shows, Fresh. You be a little bit rough on these shows right here when they underdeliver. So I get it. I can see a 6.
It's just like you said. The only reason why is too many storylines that are just left open. None got closed. They didn't get solved or anything. So it's just that's the only reason why. Like I said, after the last episode, when I went back and look, I was just like, it was like they just stretched out this season as much as they could. Like they just really wrote, like they just stretched everything out from Unique coming back and him trying to get this back in the fold. They stretched it out about Famous. Like it was just a whole, like they just stretched the whole season where by episode 5, all of that stuff should have already been solved, and now we're on the bigger and better stuff by that point.
You know, that's a good point because even with OG Power, we ended with so many plot lines that were still open in OG Power. Same thing with Book 2 Ghosts. It's like the whole situation with 2-Bit. I hate when they do that. That's why I don't like when they keep all these plot lines open and they don't close them out before they enter a new one. They open a new one up without closing an old one out, and then we get stuck with wondering what happened. Just like go back to OG Power and Cristobal and Dre's beef. What was that all about?
Mm-hmm.
You know, it's just so many different dynamics over the years that they have left open-ended. I guess it gives them the ability to tap in and do more spinoffs too, because we have so many plot lines that they leave open. All right, fellas, any last minute stuff? We'll probably be back next week, probably Saturday or Sunday. I'm not quite sure yet. We'll have to decide on what day and time we're going to do our review with the panels. We'll reach out to some folks and see who wants to get up. If any of you in the comments want to join the panel next week, drop us a comment and let us know so we can go ahead and get the link sent out to you for next week and talk to you guys behind the scenes. But I would love to do a show just to talk about the season and what our thoughts are for next season. Y'all got any last minute stuff, fellas?
Only thing, Planet Paperboy. Force comes back out in September. But other than that,
see you with BMF.
See us with BMF.
I ain't looking forward to even watching that this season.
Me either. That's gonna be. We talked about this. That's gonna be one of those ones where I'll watch on Friday. At some point on Friday, instead of Thursday night, Friday morning, I'll be watching that Friday afternoon.
Y'all feel like how I feel overall about BMF, so.
Just looking at the previews, I just like, it's too much. But
all right, fam. Well, we're signing off. You guys have been great this season. We enjoy you as always, and we'll see you in the next one. Until then, peace.